393, yeah.
You got 393.
No.
What is it really?
323.
Okay.
Did I really? Let me send it again.
So we're streaming?
Yes, we're good. Oh.
No Bob today?
He's sick.
Yeah, Bob.
How did his heart?
Is it a normal sick?
I think it's a normal sick. He's in Santa Fe to playtime and then got down there and got sick.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Where's that darn
That's
flu
six.
bug going around?
Yeah.
That Noria junk too, that whatever that's called.
Norovirus.
Norovirus.
You know lemongrass oil will kill that sucker?
Really?
Good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you are.
Hit it.
Okay.
Roll them.
The Custer County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. Let the record show today is December the 6th, 2019. Time is 9:00 a.m. I've been on this counterclockwise
I think you should change it to this
move.
way.
No, and of course, we're missing our attorney, so I would ask if Miss Jackie Bewis would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Happy to. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
you stand up and
Appreciate
your
that.
mind goes blank.
I know.
What is that start?
Let's see, what is it?
Well,
America.
I asked
I almost sung the national anthem.
That's it. Oh, say.
I asked a lady one day, forgot to ask her ahead of time, and so I asked her to write. And
Fuzzy for a pen.
she just went blank, and the guy said,
When you
pledge.
were alive.
"Oh yeah, I pledge." It just freaked her out. So, Madam Clerk to the Board, would you conduct the roll, please?
I would. Commissioner Flower,
Present.
Commissioner Cannon,
Here.
Commissioner Prince,
Yep.
Attorney Clint Smith, not present, and Clerk of the Board Kelly Kemper present.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Audience introductions. We'll start to the east.
Lynn LeGree, Airport.
Jackie Bubis, Sentinel.
Thank you. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I do this because I try to remind myself as well to make sure our cell phones are silenced. Amendments to the agenda, gentlemen?
None here.
Can't we add 5 or 6 things?
Just do it.
Oh,
because
please.
I don't wanna get done at 11. I'd rather do it
What
that
are we
hour.
gonna do if we
I mean,
get
those
done?
3 extra hours.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't believe we have any minutes to approve either. Commissioner items, anything of any substance since yesterday?
None from me.
Commissioner Prince?
I met with a gentleman yesterday who lives in Denver, and he's buying 8 to 10 lots in Silver Cliff and wants to make some low-income rentals, I'm sorry, I said that wrong.
Yeah.
Low-income rentals, and maybe some for sale also, between 6 and 8 units. So I hooked him up with the attainable housing. Charles Bogle spoke to him, they're all excited, and both sides look like they're working well. So we may have something
Good.
happening there aside from our lot purchase
Okay.
project.
Single family or multi-family dwellings?
Well, that was questionable, they're not sure what they wanna do, they were thinking about maybe duplexes for the rentals and single family for the purchase, but it was in his infancy, but that's what his goal is to build.
He wants to be a
attainable
builder for them or
housing. He bought the
make
lots.
money on them.
Well, he already bought the lots. I didn't really get into, is this a money-making project or not? He said to me, I'm interested in doing lower cost entry level homes. And I said, you're barking up the exact right tree, this is a big
Got those
issue."
lots, we got our lots, let's make us.
And that's
Good.
exactly what I told him, so I got him in touch with
Good.
Bogle and,
Good.
that group, and they're working on that.
Good. Well, I stopped in Florence on the way home from CCI conference and met with their building trades teacher, who happens to be a longtime friend of mine. And they're in the process, they're roofing a 23 or 2,400 square foot home. His building trade high school kids are, and they've built 10 or 12 of them down there. So I stopped and talked to him, and I asked him if we could get the attainable housing superintendent, the building trades teacher, and maybe the commissioner and whoever else, get a school bus and drive down there and spend some time looking at that project, and, I think.
It might be a good thing just to get our building trade.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Because
You
they
know,
built
maybe
a couple houses.
Try to, yeah,
one time up
they
there.
built 4 altogether,
Mhm.
2 in town
One
and 2
down
up
here,
there.
one up there, and one out there.
So, yeah, I thought maybe we could invite school board members
Yeah.
and all of that, so, I didn't know, I thought maybe we could try to do it in an afternoon on a day that we had a commissioner meeting, that we knew we'd be around, so, I don't know.
I think that's
We can
great.
do it after a Wetmore meeting, take a short cut.
Well, we won't have a Wetmore meeting in
Next.
January, so.
That's why
Probably
you wanna do it before.
Yeah, I'd really like to do it before the end of the year, but that's probably gonna get
Hard
away
to do
from
that.
us, so. But, and then I did, go get the van, sheriff's office van, and I took it down to the road and bridge department and asked them if they could get started on converting that back to
A civilian.
normal use, civilian use, yep. So, talked to Chris Halpin again this morning about it, and so it seemed like it's pretty nice. That's the first time I'd driven it, 118,000 miles on it, but,
Didn't shake, rattle, and roll.
no, it seemed to be pretty roadworthy, just driving it down there. And, you know, as an example, Tish put 10,000 miles on her personal car in 2019. And of course, she got reimbursed for it, but still, man, on a personal vehicle, that's too many miles.
It's not right.
And I know that him donating that vehicle to DHS ran the sheriff department short, because they really do need 2 transport vans. They don't need 2 all the time, but, that was pretty nice of him to say, you know what, they probably need it more often than we do. I'm not saying they need it more than we do, they just need it more often, and I agree with that, but just like this morning, they had to transport 4 prisoners from Pueblo and 4 prisoners from Canyon City to be up here for district court today. And, he said it's gonna be tough, but. So that's the only thing really that I've done, fielded a phone call, message from Jordan Hedberg from the paper. Of course, he was unhappy about my remarks yesterday, and I called back and left him a message because I couldn't get hold of him, but, I just wanna move forward in a positive manner and try to come to some solution that will satisfy the needs of the citizens. So that's about all I've done. I don't have anything to report on Upper Ark either since yesterday. Anyone else?
Not me.
No attorney items, admin assistant. Public comment. Anything for the good of the order not on the agenda? So this is one of those deals. Yesterday I looked, it was 9:45 when we got to the first staff report.
I looked at that.
And so I got on my phone during the meeting and texted Karen, said maybe we need to move the start of these staff reports to 9:30. Well, here, we're gonna be ready to start staff report at 9:10, so
Good thing
how
the
in the
airport was
world
here.
do you know? But the second day, it doesn't seem like we have as much
Yeah,
to
and if it's a
report
low,
on.
agenda item area, it might be indicative of a later start.
Well, yeah, and your second day, you don't have nearly as many
We're not gonna
commissioner
do this
things,
big long
so
report. We
maybe
spent,
do the first day
Yeah.
at one time and
That's
the
right, 'cause
second
we
day
got
at a
more to
different.
say and ask
Yeah.
each other the first time we get.
we spent
Way I just-
20 minutes yesterday
I didn't
talking
like
about
it.
CCI between the 3 of us,
Yeah.
which I felt like it was important, but
Spend enough money going there, we ought to talk about it.
that's exactly right. That's what
Well,
I
we need
thought.
to talk
Karen
too,
and I
we can't
talked
talk
about that.
except in these meetings.
So, yeah, maybe on the first day, we do 9:30, on the second day 9:15, but people get in the habit. I mean, you thought it was gonna be 9:15 today, right? And then, so,
Yeah,
which it is,
which
it's
it says
scheduled
it
at
is.
9:15, so, I don't know, but,
So you gotta sit there another 5 minutes.
yeah.
He'll keep talking for the
I'm
next
stalling.
5 minutes, just for you.
Yeah.
I'm stalling, see, till we get to 9:15, but,
Can I bring up something
Sure.
slightly different? I'm looking at our agenda, and where it says staff reports, we have two entries, the airport and the treasurer, where it says possible
Right.
action item. Hang on. Okay, I might say this in a minute. I would recommend, I thought we kinda mentioned this yesterday, maybe on where it says staff reports, just put a line right
Right.
there, possible
right.
action item, so just in case.
All of
them.
On all of
We
them.
could
And the
have an
reason we
action.
didn't do anything, that agenda was already
It's
printed
already
and
printed,
posted.
I understand that, but for the future.
but
I
for
just
the
didn't think the
future.
24-hour, I wasn't
Right.
sure if I could change
Nope.
it. So, but I
That's
do
fine.
have it for next month.
Perfect, thank you so much, I just think that's a
Absolutely.
smart idea, just in case something comes
I
up,
agree.
we're ready to go.
Yeah. We did it twice yesterday, actually, so,
Once on one that said it, and once on one that didn't.
yeah, that's right, it did say it on the bridge, so. Anyway, if there's no public comment, we'll move on then, staff reports. Mr. Lynn, good morning, sir, how are you? How's things in your world?
Good.
Yeah, we
May I?
can move that anywhere you want.
I don't wanna look at myself.
I move it and
Good morning, Bill.
I don't wanna look at you either.
I know.
I forget how the thing actually works, but good morning, sir.
Quit looking in the mirror when I.
You
So
moved
we're
into your
short-
hangar, Lynn?
No, I haven't been out there for a few days, but, so, I'm assuming it's going up, or up.
Yeah,
Is this the 5T?
No.
Oh, that's something different?
no,
Yeah.
his personal.
His personal hangar.
Oh, okay.
So, Mr. Jolly says we sold 417 gallons in November, leaving us with a current inventory of 1,700 gallons. So, we could ship for several more months. Depending on the weather, could be 3 months. So.
Yeah.
How many did you have left, 17?
Yeah.
Then we have Mr. McDonald we did some measuring, and then he's got a neat
Oh,
little
thank you.
program on his
Program, yeah,
computer.
pretty cool.
Yeah. On the current layout, and
Do you have another one?
yeah, would you like one too?
I would.
Just to kind of give you an idea of where the new taxiways will be. The T1 that you're talking about, Jay.
Yes, sir.
That's the Mr. McDonald's putting up those T hangers there,
Yes, sir.
and he wants two spots already, because the first 5 that he started on are already rented, gone, sold. So he wants to do another one. C1 up there that we're calling that whole row of hangars custom. Instead of us picking sizes to do, and then somebody come along wanting 2, like we've already experienced, we'll just let them lease whatever, be custom stuff. Lot 19 and 13, 14, and 15 are the only ones left on the existing taxi lane, 19 being the only one that is current buildable.
So nobody has
Right,
that yet.
13, 14, 15, can't build on right
Correct.
now.
It needs the dirt.
So 19 is available
Yes,
as a building site.
right.
13, 14, and 15 need dirt.
Need dirt. Other than that, that's all full, and
Right.
plans for hangars for this summer.
And lot 3 is vacant, correct, currently?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be something go up on that this spring too.
Okay, and the double wide, is that the 2021? The condo,
Mr. Otto's,
which one is it?
No,
Is it
17 and
17,
18, isn't it?
Is it
Yeah.
17 and 18?
yeah.
Okay. And has he got it, what's his plan for that? Is he,
Well, the doors, remember the doors?
I know the
were
doors are-
wrong ones, and so I haven't heard
does he have
any.
somebody on both sides? I know he's got a partner.
Yeah, they're
Is he-
both spoken for,
And are they putting 2 airplanes each in?
one as far as I know.
I'm just asking, the only reason I'm asking, and I was gonna bring this up, is, I had somebody call me wondering if there's anything available here to purchase, cause he wants to move up here from Denver, he doesn't have a plane yet. And I told him, that we had the condo that he
Right.
could talk to somebody about,
Right.
and then I told him we had, the 3 there, I didn't know 19 was still available,
Yeah.
I thought somebody had already moved
Yeah.
with bargaining on it.
Yeah.
But I will send you what I got. I did send it, I told him that Bob Jolly is the guy to talk to.
Right.
But I didn't know he was sick,
Yeah.
and so I'll send it to you too.
What are you gonna do with your extra hangar?
I'm gonna lease it, rent it out, it's.
Yeah, that's right.
And but it's spoken for.
Oh, it is?
We already
Yeah.
have somebody on it.
Yeah. So, back to those thoughts, that's why we need to continue to push forward to get those other 2 taxi lanes up to snuff and some pavement on them.
What's our plan on those at the moment?
At the moment is springtime now, probably, before we can get any. Gary Hyde was gonna come and do some grading out there and get us ready to go,
Good.
but then the weather's moved in and.
The only issue I have, and I brought this up a couple times, I don't see it here yet, is, to me, the C1 hangars
Mhm.
they face east, right?
Right,
The T hangars face both ways.
both ways.
I still think we need to move that and put an outside parking area between T hangars and C in order to have room, because remember, even under the ramp expansion, we only have 7 airplanes that can park.
And we've talked about that
So
a
what's the
little bit.
reason you don't wanna do it?
Well, it's not we don't want it, we're just thinking that we got this over here, north of the county building,
Mhm.
the FBO, and then coming down this taxi
Sure.
lane back to the east. Would be something
As
there.
long as
Only
Navajo doesn't do anything
Right.
Right,
wrong.
the Navajos could do
Kinda.
something weird.
Right.
And then maybe you would, to me, against the road, you'd like to see some businesses, airport painting, in a hangar, whatever. But, I think it protects the airplanes better between the row of hangars and the T hangars, because the winds are always prevailing out of
Yeah.
northwest or northeast, north-south, or south and east coming across. Just something to think about,
Right.
something to
And
get
we
a
did
good
talk
reason
about
to
it.
do that, because if we're gonna really grow, a lot of people come in, they're getting more and more time, wanna tie down, coming in to visit.
Right,
Could you do a tie down north of
You
the-
could do it north of that.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
You could.
north space to the north too.
absolutely.
I mean, to the east, sorry.
Into the east, you
Yeah.
could do that,
We could do
you could
another
do
one to
that
the
idea to the east would
Right.
be okay. But
Or
then
like you
you're
said,
not,
even to the north now of the existing taxi lane, if we
Yeah.
eventually got that. I mean,
Right.
There's
And that-
places to go with it. And we did
Ideally,
talk
that
about
needs
it.
to be paved too,
Right.
doesn't it, tie down
Right.
area.
so.
That's what I wanted to say, we're leasing lots on
Mm.
areas that don't even have taxi lanes at this point.
Right.
So it's,
So when now it's gonna, the rubber's gonna meet the road, when we
Yeah.
put pavement down, so that
Exactly.
you're locked into the design, so you
right,
get a big, really throw a good study on it. I'm
Yeah.
good with it when it comes. And then you've also shown that you've got big berm up here,
right,
and I think you've talked to Gary about taking some of
Yes.
that dirt and throwing it in these 3
Yep.
lots down here.
yeah. Although the more he looked at it, and he put some grade stakes out there.
Not enough.
He said there's really not that much out
Yeah,
there.
by the time you fill the low spots
Right.
on
Yeah,
there,
that's probably true.
see.
But he
more.
thought he'd do what he could with,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Good,
Right, good deal.
nice drawing, that helps.
Yeah, don't
This
it?
is great.
Really
It
does.
is, huh?
This is great.
Yeah,
Good job.
so,
And did you verify, just out of curiosity, the boundary line going to the south off the corner? The fence, is the fence on the boundary line, or do we have a right of way on the outside of the fence, the east side of the fence line going south?
east side going south, down the,
The gate that swings open into the air park,
right,
and
Down
that
that
fence
way.
line going south is, I don't think it's on the boundary. And I was asked that by the engineers, because they wanna run power to the new ramp area on the outside of the fence, and they don't want it being in paved roads
right,
place.
right.
Yeah,
I really don't
we'd
know.
have to find the stakes, I'd be surprised if we had an easement down there.
I would be too, but Kit seems to think he doesn't know, we need to get with Kit before we start building that, ramp.
Okay. I've always assumed it was on
I did too, but the engineers told me that it wasn't, based on whatever they researched.
well, we'll see what we can do with that. You guys know where we're at with the fire department and that concrete fiasco? No? Okay.
Get, talked about, return each.
Or they wanted you to file on your
Yeah,
insurance.
just file on your insurance. Here to do it so they can deal with the,
Okay.
fire
I do
department
think
insurance.
that paperwork got to Kit.
Oh, it did?
I think so.
So, well, fine, it,
Because Sharon was gonna take care of that.
usually the insurance company would be calling back and then dealing with their insurance company.
She was gonna meet with Kit that afternoon, because there was some talk of fire truck, some bad vibes going on with the fire truck.
Yeah, there is. It's got some issues, no question. I understand now, they can't even get it started, so.
Well, the other vibe was paying for the,
Yeah,
The-
that it may go away, but it's.
Probably bigger than a vibe, that might
it
be.
wasn't a vibe, it
That might be.
was, pay me now or pay me, you
That
know.
was a
Right.
roar.
Yeah, that was a big roar.
And, Kara, did Vince Dugan want on the mid-month agenda to talk about that fire truck?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
on the mid-month.
So
yes,
he's
sir.
on the mid-month agenda to come in and talk about who's gonna pay for that fire truck. I don't know why they keep coming to the county. I thought we made it clear last time
It's a
that
fire
we didn't
district.
do this. And I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why we would even talk to our insurance company about that. And I said that to Kit, but in a meeting.
That wasn't Kit, that was Donna saying that it should be worked that way. Because it's, it happened,
And
on
then it
our
goes to
property.
theirs. Yeah.
And so you work, you know, so then
Right.
it's just like a car, you know, car insurance, if you get hit by somebody and it was their fault, then our insurance, your car insurance would deal with their insurer to get reimbursed.
Okay.
Courtesy car,
Courtesy car's been used already.
wonderful, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, so.
And they didn't wreck it the
They
first
didn't
time?
wreck it.
They brought it back?
And it came back, and it came to town and went
And
back.
go grow hemp
It
somewhere.
wasn't transporting drugs, we're in good shape.
Exactly. Well, I can't
Well,
say
that
I
we
know
know
that.
of.
Right.
To the best of our knowledge.
To the best of our knowledge.
Had more gas in it than when they started.
Yeah.
So,
It was like a quarter tank and it came back with a half a tank, so.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
I'm gonna suspect the people who use that car are gonna do that those are the kind of people
yes.
that are just gonna take care.
Yeah.
I think it's
Exactly.
great, that was a good plan.
So just one other thought, we certainly will invite you guys to another powwow out at one of your meetings out at the airport. When we can.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I can't remember, well, I can look. Do I
I'm
have to
clearing the
remember?
whole day for that one.
You need to do is
Cause
get
last time I had to leave before I ate.
get the grill out.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
stay for.
Let me see when that was.
It was
Like
April.
lunch.
Burgers and beers.
It was April, I think.
That's what I was thinking, it was April, and I wonder if we don't wanna try it in May, but,
Be a little warmer.
Yeah. So whenever you guys can pull it off.
yeah, my computer's being stupid.
I plan to, one in May and one in September.
There you go.
Try to open it one more time.
No? Okay, well,
So I think it
Let
was
us
in
know so
April
we
as
can-
well, but, I'd like to do it in May if we can, because I think the weather'd be a little nicer, cause it's kind of a, people like to open the door, and we open those doors and.
right. Burn some burgers next week.
Burn some burgers.
We'll be making that schedule pretty quickly here,
Yeah,
so let's.
another month, so we'll just try to remember that, and, you don't have a preference one way or the
No.
other. All right, sir, thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in, buddy.
Yep,
Boy.
yep.
You heading
Thanks,
out
Lynn.
there?
Thanks for you.
Thanks,
Jay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you guys do.
Oh,
Who's back there? The ghost of BOCC admin Pat.
How's it going? Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
A skill not many people have or
What's that?
use. Actually looking at somebody when you shake their hand,
Oh,
yeah, it's nice,
That's what everybody should do.
yeah. So, how are you?
Good. We got the tires.
Oh, good, yeah.
So, well, I'll bring them up to Road and Bridge next week. So hopefully we can. Oh, you guys. There you go. We zoomed in the corner.
Oh,
um,
you're fine.
What, they got tipped over.
yeah. So yeah, the tires will go on, and then that'll be good. We had a. You good?
No, not good.
Going berserk.
We had a really good mass fatality management workshop. It was 2 days, and we learned a lot. The state came and facilitated it for us, and so we have plans together to get together and write a really good plan for the county. We have one as a county right now, but it's not the most effective plan, and so we're just gonna revamp it. So it'll be really good. Restructure the CES group. I think I sent you guys the charts for it.
You did.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, the VMS sign project, what is VMS and
Variable
what am I missing?
messaging board. So, in 2019, we put in a couple ideas for the Homeland Security grant, and the coroner vehicle got the priority, which is good. But then the variable messaging board, it's like those CDOT boards that have the,
okay.
different.
Watch out, deer
Like
in
on
the
the
road.
road
Yeah,
tell people
and so
stuff.
one of the big things for us here is that it takes a while for that resource to get here. We have available, it's available to us, but it takes a little bit, and so, that's gonna be one of the projects to put forth in the next go
How
around
much are
Homeland
they?
Security.
Good.
Depends, I'm not sure.
Like 50 grand or more.
Something
Yeah, it
I
seemed
don't
like
know.
when we first talked about that, they were
It was
20 to
something
30.
like that,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're hoping maybe a couple, and then that would be a regional asset, so where if something happened within our south region.
And those are on wheels, so you can wheel them out and wheel them in, got it.
Yeah.
Roads closed 2 miles ahead.
Right,
or
wildfire.
turn here
and
for the
stuff like that.
camp or whatever.
Great idea.
Yeah, so that's on the radar. Another project, on the radar is kind of, revamping our EOC, Emergency Operations Center, facilities, and trying to get, just some good things in place so that we don't have to scrounge around to get it all together. Yeah. Can't think of anything else to highlight from it.
How is your part-time help working out?
Great.
Yeah, I'm
She's
seeing
doing well?
Yeah, he's been really good. He did all the tire stuff for me, so that's great. Yeah.
Where'd you end up getting tires?
Online, it was like the cheapest option for what we looked at, like I think 8 different spots, and that was the cheapest.
Right.
So yeah. The AOP. So in January, I got your email, which was good. Thanks for the dates.
Yep.
So in January, each January we go through an AOP meeting, annual operating plan for DFPC, Division of Fire Protection and Control, to set forth how we're gonna work together. There's usually not any changes to it. It's just that kind of going through it. So Joe Lobiondo gave me some dates, and if any of those that's listed in the report don't work for you guys, let me know. We're just trying to, we have to coordinate a bunch of schedules.
Okay, if you happen to see my friend to call me. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, did you get that string of dates that she was asking about? I see you have yours there, Jay. Yeah,
So
I
it's-
responded this morning
Yeah,
to her.
2nd, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 10th.
That works for me. Most of them.
Okay.
Morning or afternoon?
Either one.
That's
I know
this month?
January.
Oh, January.
Yeah.
We're past that. The 2nd?
2nd, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 10th.
The 9th doesn't work for
Okay.
us, we have a rock that day.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
7th looks
But,
good.
seventh is,
We don't
I
know
told
when
you
our-
9th was good, but because I didn't go to January's calendar, I just looked in mine, and so I missed that. That's
We
all I
haven't
think,
set our
so-
BOCC calendar
Right.
yet. so
seventh
we
is
need
okay
to-
with me.
Oh,
Get that
7th's
one.
not one of the.
I thought you said seventh.
I don't know.
Second, third.
2nd, 3rd, 6th, 9th.
Yeah.
Then let's do the
Friday the
sixth,
3rd
do the
looks good,
sixth.
don't you think?
I don't wanna get into that week.
Yeah,
after
that's what
that.
I had said too, was the third work for me. I was just looking now, we don't have.
Sixth doesn't for you guys?
No. For some reason, the 6th. Well, it wasn't even an option, was it, the 6th?
She
It
just
is.
said it.
Oh, it is, okay. So we don't have back-to-back BOCC,
We got it on the 31st,
Right.
obviously.
right, but
And then we don't
I
have,
thought it
I
was
don't know
gonna
why
be the
I have
7th
that one
and
set.
8th. It
Well,
seemed
you know,
like,
I could have,
the sixth?
we could
It's
do
the
both.
second Tuesday.
That's the last one I
right, but the
have.
6th is a Monday,
Oh, then it's the 7th.
but not the 8th. We only have one meeting that week.
I'm good on
Those
the
staff
eighth.
reports.
You can't do it on
These are dates that were given to me from
That's
DFPC.
fine.
That's fine, we'll work, we got, you gave us a lot of days,
That
there's
day
one that's gonna work.
is
Oh, yeah,
appointments and-
Yeah, that's why, Jay, the 7th is that appointment day,
Oh, is that what it is?
yeah.
Okay.
For what?
So we just don't do staff reports.
Okay,
So we're gonna meet on the seventh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, not the seventh. You guys can't do the eighth. The eighth wasn't an option.
Well,
No.
Sixth,
yeah, she's gonna
I
check
just
with
need a
Joe,
couple
she just
dates
needs,
so that,
well, pick one to do.
yeah, so we need the
Oh,
sheriff
okay.
needs to be in it, you
well, I
have
could do the third if
Forest
we
Service.
absolutely have to.
Okay, is there we need to maybe get 2 other dates that work?
the 10th looks good,
And,
13th looks good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Perfect. There, I had kind of an idea, so we've talked a lot about the need for a PIO for the county, Public Information Officer. And I was talking to Shannon a little bit, and I think it would be good to kind of have like a good discussion over it and the necessity for it. I can look for maybe grants that would pay for one. I talked to some other people and they don't know specifically just for PIOs. So that might be a challenge.
Are you thinking of an additional person or someone with a training for someone who's
Well,
already with us?
so we've talked about it with Desiree from Sol Vista, and we had a kind of a group together, and we kind of had the idea of having a SAR member, a search and rescue member, or a couple training from there, and who are already involved in our volunteer organizations, which is great for emergencies. But there's also, I think, a need for a PIO in general, just for a county.
right, yeah, I agree, I think we need a county PIO.
Yeah.
My question really was, were you thinking of a new person or someone to train someone who already is a county?
That's kind of on y'all's
Got it.
purview on that one.
Okay.
I think it's just definitely a need. All the incidents that I've gone on, and that's always been a
I'm not disagreeing,
deliverable after one.
just wondering how, is the
Yeah.
question I had.
Yeah, me too. So I can look at grants. I don't know what that would look like in general. But I think it's definitely a need that we should discuss and talk through.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for it to be right, it's a commitment
Yeah.
for the training, a significant amount of training for it.
Right.
The problem with hiring somebody new is they'd be busy during the training period after that, and we might go 6 months and never utilize them.
That's the key, that's why I was thinking maybe someone
What would happen?
that's
Well,
already employed
yes
that
and
would be
no.
wanting to do it.
So, it could be utilized for the press releases that you guys would be doing, the different things that,
Bless you.
our different agencies are working on, so like even the airport could utilize them. There's ways
That's
to
true.
use,
That's true.
there's ways to use that position outside of emergencies, kind of get the rumor, wheel cut down a little bit. because that's
BOCC
the right
meeting here,
information.
we have it at
Right.
each end of the courthouse.
Yeah, and so just having that position, doing all of those, I think would be really good. My thought over that one, is, Alex could do part of it. He doesn't have the set training for PIO, and that is quite the process. However, there's kind of give and take within that, I think. He's smart and quick and can handle that one pretty easily.
And I think he'd be a great candidate for the emergency side of PIO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can keep that on the burner.
Yeah.
Uh,
Next meeting this mid-month is the 18th,
Mhm.
right? Can I please be on the agenda for you to sign the hazard mitigation document?
Yes, we will do that.
So,
Consideration of the hazard mitigation plan
hazard mitigation plan grant.
grant,
When do you need to be on next one?
18.
18th.
18th.
We'll try and get it before, Christmas and it can be sent out to them. I think that's really all it.
Usually
We have
we can get a copy of that ahead of time to look at.
yeah, so, I'll put it all together and send it to you all before.
Okay, thank you.
There is you're busy on the 7th, is that right? So there's our South Region Communication Tabletop that was rescheduled because of the Decker fire, is being rescheduled on January 7th, 9 to 12 in Canyon.
Yeah, I don't think we have conflict with that. I think
So I think it'd be really
What
good,
day I'm looking at?
January 7th, 9 to 12.
BOCC.
What is it?
South Region
January
Tabletop.
7th?
Oh,
Yeah,
That's our BOCC.
yeah.
Tuesday the 7th.
That's in Canyon.
Yeah, in Canyon. So we worked together as a South Region to create this tabletop to kind of mitigate some communication problems. So we're starting out between, it's a incident that affects Fremont and Custer County, and then in a couple months we'll do one that affects Warfano and Los Animas, and then the third one is a full South Region one. So if you could make it, that'd be great.
Well, we've got a BOCC meeting scheduled that day.
Oh,
I didn't realize.
no worries.
So, that's a Tuesday.
Are you talking about January?
It's at the Fremont
It's actually
County
the
offices.
14th. I just looked. I didn't think the 7th sounded right. Second Tuesday.
Wait a minute, our calendar said, and I'm happy to change it.
Where is it?
In
Fremont.
I have
Canyon's
the
Go.
7th,
at
so
the,
it should be,
And I don't,
I'll get the address to you guys. It's
Yeah,
like
how
we
a
do I
haven't
local
set that,
building.
so I guess my
It's
question was,
BOCC.
how's come
Yeah,
it's
it's
even
the
on there?
BOCC.
well,
Did you
the only
go off
reason
of
it'd be
last
on
year?
there is because when we set it last year,
Yeah.
that's the day, I
Right.
just, put all the dates in my calendar. It should be the 14th, go ahead and look at
Second
that.
Tuesday.
That sounds like.
It's that
And
problem.
then the mid-month must be,
You don't have a mid-month. Generally, you don't have a mid-month.
We haven't
Okay,
said
so
it.
this is
In
a rule for
January-
December, or January.
In January,
Okay.
you always have the second Tuesday and then the end of the
Alright,
month.
got it.
Okay, I got it on the 14th, and the 7th works.
So the 7th, 9 to 12 is the tabletop, food's provided.
Would you send us kind of an email
Yeah,
on it?
so
just to
I'll,
say where
we have a
and-
flyer and I'll send it to you.
So the 7th is okay.
Perfect. Any questions for me? I think that's really all I wanted.
No.
how's your building? It had a lot of snow, and obviously no rain.
Yeah,
There was some concern about the
Last-
roof.
yeah, those spots I think I don't think they've grown, but there's like, you can still see.
Some water spots.
Yeah. I haven't noticed anything
Everything else working all right.
Yeah, trucking along. I'm excited about the change in the CPS group and putting a little bit more of a
Yeah.
emphasis on plans and training as a group, so it'll be really good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little distracted that day during that meeting. I had a
Really?
grant that had to be in or not a grant, but a document that I had to submit that day, and I was trying to finish it up during your meeting.
No worries.
I really got the sense that it's probably this new format's not gonna be as regular, and it's not gonna be as critical that a commissioner is at every meeting.
Right, so, you guys are more than welcome to come in at any of the meetings, for sure. With the restructuring, we won't be meeting each month.
Right.
But the ones that we do will be, more,
Work-based.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Which I didn't-
effective, I guess is.
I didn't know if we needed to be at those work-based ones versus.
I think there might be a few, depending on what the plan is or the training and things, but not as regular as
Yeah.
the last time. Yeah. So.
Good. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No, good.
All right, ma'am, thank you,
Alright.
appreciate it, thanks for sending us your report ahead of time, we
Sure.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have a good day today. Well, thank goodness for paper, cause my computer is on the site this morning. All right.
Can you double for the public health nurse?
I know nothing about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we go back, we can go back to public health because she's not gonna be here this morning. Since Guinevere is here, let's jump that real quick.
Sorry,
How
Bill,
are you
I
this
just,
morning?
I would not take help.
Yeah.
Public health nurse advice for me? Hi.
Probably a good idea.
You might misrepresent a little.
Yeah, I think I know some stuff, but, you know, yeah. How are you guys?
Good, good, thank you, yeah.
Good.
Thanks for sending us your letter. I'm probably not gonna be able to open it, but I read it this morning, actually.
I think I didn't edit it thoroughly enough, so I apologize for
Every little
I know, I was like, oh, I hate that.
glaring errors.
Yeah, you're like, I know better.
Dear commissioners.
And I usually find those out when, after you hit send and then you look at it.
I know.
Well, I did open it this time, so good.
So,
I shut it off twice this morning since our meeting started, so.
Interviews, 1920.
yeah, if you guys would like to sit in on those, happy to have that participation, but if you don't want to, definitely understand.
Okay. Do you wanna
Probably sit in on
conduct those
enough.
down here, or do you wanna do those upstairs?
I was just gonna do it upstairs, but certainly, just assuming that I didn't know what was going on in this room.
Okay.
How do you feel about commissioners sitting in on your interviews?
The position technically reports to you guys.
Understand that,
So-
but a lot of positions get filled and
Work
discussed
for
without
you.
sitting in on the interviews. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just looking for your guidance. Would you prefer we were there, prefer we weren't there? And you're not gonna hurt my feelings either way.
I would like it to be, that you have a participation in the hiring, since they are your report, so if it's all three of you, great, if it's one of you, 1.5, just kidding. Yes, I would like your participation, if you can.
What time do they start?
I'm not sure yet, because I haven't even sifted through them, the closing date is the 13th, and so I would like to come to you guys with like 3 or 4 of the top candidates, that way it's not like,
Are you considering right now using both of those days or one of those days?
I wanted it to be, open to those 2 days based on their availability.
Okay. Yeah,
How
I've
many,
got
7 or
7 would probably take.
yeah,
What's the official title?
office manager.
I've got a meeting at 11:30 on the 19th.
Okay.
And I'm out on the 20th, so if you want, I can go to the 19th, you can go to the 20th,
Good,
if you'd like to do that.
Sure.
And I'm around.
I don't wanna overwhelm them, and I'm always concerned that,
When you have a big
You know,
panel,
Where's it gonna be?
upstairs probably.
so why don't you send us an email and we'll coordinate, cause
Perfect.
I'm just a little concerned that we'd overwhelm the candidate if the 3 commissioners are sitting there
Said
going,
19,
"What?"
20 of
This month.
this month, right?
Yeah, I'd be available in the afternoon on the 19th and all day on the 20th because Upper Ark was canceled, so. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm not available on the 20th. acronyms mixed up.
What? How many you
Can
got?
you believe it?
Never.
Yeah, I've got an all-day meeting on the 20th, so.
Well, yeah, so let's just, if you guys, I will send you final schedule, if you can make it,
Okay.
great.
Perfect.
You wanna do that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Certainly, I
we'll
don't
work
have
on
an
it.
issue with you doing it if you had to by yourself.
Yeah,
I would be comfortable with your selection, whatever. But,
well.
I would like to see a list of your interviewees. Or you think you'll interview them all, or are you gonna pare that list down?
What I'd like to do is pare it down to 3 or 4. I would just hate at some point, like, oh, we had no say, even though I know you've given me the say,
Right,
but,
right.
just to avoid
Yeah.
future
Okay.
potential issues.
No problem.
Well, if it happened to be in the afternoon on the 19th, I'd be all
Okay.
over that, but.
And you know, we have.
But you only need one of us,
Yeah.
you said, so we'll work it out. So
And we have an
23,
extension advisory
and
board
I'm
member.
good either.
Yeah.
You said 19, 20,
Yep.
so I'm good either day.
Some old crusty.
Well, no, I'm not, I'm the 19th.
Some old crusty extension advisory member's gonna
No,
sit in.
she is not crusty
Oh,
at all.
she, it's a she, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know.
Depends on the day.
Oh, you've never been crusty to me.
Okay.
I would not call you crusty.
Well, then, that's why you don't think she's crusty. I think she could be crusty.
But the day is early.
That's right.
That's
It's fine.
right, that's
Yeah.
right, the day is early.
Yeah. You know, from reading your letter, I thought Master Gardeners was still a up and viable running group, but not.
Well, at the state level, yes.
No, I mean locally.
Yeah, no, there is the High Altitude Gardening Club, and they do
Oh,
a lot
maybe
of
that's
really
what
cool
I was
things.
thinking of.
But this is specifically a
Different,
program
yeah.
through CSU.
Right.
Yeah.
I know we've had it in the past, I just assumed it was still going, so.
Yeah, I'm really trying to take on one new thing a year, that's it.
Right.
And I always thought they were one and the same, so I guess.
Oh,
yeah, no, they're
yeah.
separate.
They are
Yeah,
separate.
that High Altitude Gardener is a local gardening club, and Master Gardening is a generic
Well,
CSU
Yeah, do that.
specifically.
Yeah, you have, I think it's like 40 hours of education, and then the goal is for them to field a lot of the gardening questions as volunteer for the extension office, so they could come in and go on site visits and things like that, so.
Maybe at one point there was a few that did the Master Gardener that became a part of the gardening
I
club.
bet so,
Could be,
I bet so.
too.
Yeah.
That was
And I don't know, gentlemen, I mean, I'm thinking that commissioners ought to take a week off for Christmas.
I know, I almost
Everybody
fell
else
out of my
sees
chair.
I'll take that
I
and go.
know.
After we get to the courthouse, I'll make it Christmas.
Well, I'm not sure I'm concerned about the rest of the courthouse.
Aww.
That's your
Now
call.
she's
Time to be
crusty.
crusty.
Yeah, now.
That's your call.
No wonder you're crusty, huh? Oh, gosh. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kinda nice.
I know, I had to double check with my boss, is this accurate? Because that's really nice.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that works out for me.
I would assume you'll post that
Yeah.
the week before or something, let them know you're gonna be closed.
Yeah.
Good, okay.
Yeah. So I've been working on the Fair Board MOU. How is that process for approval? Does that come to you? Do we, like, prior to presenting it to the Fair Board, what
Do it to the fair board first.
MOU with the Fair Board?
Yeah, we have a draft one that we've always, this one was 18. And that's just what, I'd like to do just to clarify roles
Right.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Certainly sets the stage for this is how.
So you're gonna meet with them.
I think it's an internal thing
Okay.
myself.
Up to you.
I don't
Okay.
know that we need to have our fingers into
Great.
that. If you have issues, obviously,
Okay.
holler
Sit
at us,
in on
but
that.
that's my feeling.
Oh, I agree, that's
Okay.
exactly what I was gonna say.
I just
feel
wanted to
what
make
you're
sure
saying
the
and all
process
it
was
is.
okay.
Yeah. Right, as
And-
you said, if there's a problem, we can talk about it.
I need to tell you gentlemen straight up, because of Guinevere, we have a very unhappy
Big problem.
commissioner from Mineral County. He caught me in the elevator
I
and
was like,
started in.
I know, I
know
was
what was
thinking
going on.
Started in on me. When he found out who I was, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. I am not very happy about losing our extension director, or, well, wasn't extension director then, but losing Guinevere Nelson to you guys. And I said, well, you just butt out of it, Hoss. We're just
Exactly
getting
right.
along
We're
fine.
thrilled to death.
We don't care about.
We don't
Yeah.
care about you.
So we had a good visit on the elevator, but he And I spoke to Guinevere about it, she knows who I'm talking about, and he just loved her, he said, man, she was the bomb, and we just
Awesome.
are not happy about having lost her to Custer County.
Feels
Not
good.
happy enough to
I
pay
said,
her
well,
more.
we're paying her a lot more. I don't know that.
You weren't that
I said,
happy.
I said, if you come up with $100,000, you probably could have kept her.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, he was very complimentary and, fun to visit with him about that, so. All right,
This is
anything
the
else?
last thing.
Yes.
CSU, we send in a budget, their fiscal calendar is July, June, so they have time to prepare stuff for you guys, by the end of your fiscal calendar. This is, return on investment, essentially gives, for every dollar that you guys contributed, CSU contributes, and it's for your dollar is at 97 cents. So if you guys would like to look at that, that's
It's for what?
for extension and everything that extension does. So your contribution through the support staff, and your, budget, for programming and stuff, and then what they contribute for, the rest of my position, their support, of what I do, training, things like that, so, that's a new tool. If you guys would like to see anything else included in there, it was just really a way for us to communicate, to CSU and to the county about,
It's a good idea.
yeah, how much money are we?
Everybody already said, well, is she half-time, but that's.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, so use that as a tool, and if there's something on there that you would like to see included, I would take that feedback. Essentially, this is a tool for me now to input, to provide to you,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Good. Okay.
What do you need from us without giving to you? I know I asked you that before.
Nothing so far. I appreciate just all the support you guys have given, and seem to have a real positive attitude, and I appreciate, checking in, and even that question I
can speak for everybody, we're very pleased you're here.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I did see my boss when I was at the interviews down there for Fremont County, and it was like, man, they like you, so keep up the good work. So thank you for communicating
Yeah.
that to my boss.
Oh,
So I
you
appreciate
bet.
that.
Have you heard, did they make a decision down there?
Not yet, the Fremont office, their courthouse is on a Monday through
Oh,
Thursday schedule, so
they're
probably
not
won't hear till
meeting
Monday,
today,
yeah.
You want this back?
I have it electronically, so if you guys wanna look at it and suggest anything, I'm happy to do that.
Well, very good, thank you, ma'am,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Holler if you need anything.
Okay.
Wonderful seeing you.
Nice to see you.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey, our favorite treasure's here.
Our knowledge.
Favorite, wow. Our only favorite.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, thank you.
I just sent it this
She
morning.
emailed that late, so you probably got it in your email, sir.
Do you want
It
me to
should be there,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can look at this one as well, so.
Anything unusual out of the ordinary?
No.
Nobody's suing us at the moment.
Not that I heard. I'm usually the last to hear, so.
What do you do with the petty cash, just out of curiosity? It's only $500.
That's my PT money.
We go to parties.
Is it?
I keep it to pay.
Part T.
It's a separate fund, like, because I have to pay for my, mailings and my, recordings and stuff.
I'm good.
So affordable housing,
That was always before in county general,
Okay.
and it was asked to be separated so you can keep a better handle on.
which I think is good. So they had some money in there before they got their $40,000.
Yeah, it was not a whole lot.
So can we have a conversation about that account?
I don't have anything to do with that account. I don't know
You
anything.
just track the
I
revenue.
just track the revenue. I don't know, before, it became affordable housing, it was, can't even remember, we had like $8,000 in it, and it was like a grant money, and you guys we wanted to get rid of it, and then we found out, no, you can't, because it was a grant money, you have to use it for certain things.
I remember when
Yeah,
they, yeah,
I can't remember the
we
name of
changed
it.
it to, what was it?
I don't know, it's in my file.
But one time I know it was a housing authority board, but when we just went back strictly to attainable housing board. But this, you're talking about
Yeah,
pre
it was
us.
something totally
Yeah,
different, I
okay.
think, and they just
What it
chose
did
the-
was if they needed new windows to, people can
Oh,
afford
yeah.
it, needed new
Mhm.
windows,
Right.
they
They could
applied
actually
for a
apply,
grant,
huh, yeah.
and they got paid for it, and then it went back in there.
And I suspect someday that'll probably, if they get healed up enough in that account, that they can, cause that's part of the whole affordable attainable housing thing through, UCOG is to rehab houses as well as provide new housing,
And
so.
I don't know what the parameters of
So I'm gonna guess that 40 of that 47,000 was the Elpamar grant, but Donna would track that.
Just a quick question, just education. The receipts for November are mainly from what? Is it just the taxes, or is it, like Road and Bridge had $100,000 worth of receipts, so is that it seems odd that it comes in November that much.
No,
What is
in November, we hardly have any taxes coming in.
I don't know, so what are those receipts?
That's
then?
receipts
Is
that they get from
HUT?
like HUTF, it's, their driveway permits, their.
Is that right? Pretty big chunk
Holly
of change.
Construction's been putting a lot in
Yeah.
for
So
access.
they spent 130,000, made 100, that's not a bad business.
I imagine that was a late HUTF
Yeah,
payment,
but-
but I don't know.
It's
And you
late.
get one nearly every month.
Oh, you do?
In the past, like in November, December, we used to not get any, but it's gotten better. But yeah, HUTF we get
That's what
nearly every month.
it was. That's a lot.
Well,
Okay.
ready for a motion?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move that we approve the treasurer's report for November 2019.
And I'd be happy to second that.
Then moved and seconded to approve November report treasurer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries.
Who's doing this again?
I know.
So just
Because they can't quit.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, easy enough.
I know.
Thank you.
as it always is. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just on a side note, we got an email from Kokelman. He's trying to make another move down your way for phone and fiber.
I was gonna bring that up as
So-
an item.
Well, I cried when I heard they were just going to Rosita's,
I
3 more
know.
miles down to my house.
Yeah, now they
Come on,
want to
just
close
come
that.
from
Well, I have a friend that works with him, he said, just hijack him, tell him to keep going. I said, yeah, like they wouldn't know 3 miles.
Yeah.
Well, cool, that would work.
Yeah, and then they wanna run it up 165 up to the road going down the canyon and got washed out, so. But it's $3.1 million project and they're looking for a 25% grant or match.
But see that, everybody's got
Not
to play.
sure, we got 800,000 laying around either, but at least it's more on the table now than it has been for quite a while.
Just take out
It's gonna
community
happen.
outreach. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Don't hold your breath, but it will happen, maybe long after you're done holding your breath.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am, thank
Okay,
you, appreciate it.
Thanks for doing that.
So we'll back up to public health, we have a document.
Was she
Do you
not
want the
coming?
document?
She is not coming, she's out of town, no, we're good.
Okay, we have it.
We actually had 2 documents, one dated the 2nd and one dated the 3rd.
Alright.
So we'll deal with the one on the 3rd because that was the updated one.
Yes.
She'll be back in town late today, but she asked if I could present for her. So pretty straightforward.
Where's the date on Is
The
it just
third was the,
It's not on
I was
here.
talking about the email date, I'm
Oh.
sorry. Yeah, that's probably the right one. Let
Yes,
me
you
look.
have the most updated.
Pardon?
I got it.
You've got the most updated, okay, so, immunizations, report on what their employees have been doing over there. I know they did go to that, mass fatality class. 2-day class, that's all we in. It was last week, not the week before, so. Any questions about any of that, gentlemen? They still have their high school students working part-time with them, and I think that's good.
Not spending much time in the jail, that's good.
Yeah.
Curious, the way I read this, I know it's not right, but it looks like flu immunizations, 194,526
Yeah.
so far. She's been busy.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm assuming
Yeah, I
she
know.
updated that or something, and so I can't speak to that.
I know, I was just,
Yeah, yeah, it does look like
Josh.
she's very busy.
Yeah.
No wonder there's no flu vaccine in the rest of the
That's the world.
We've used it all in Custer County.
Didn't know we had that many people.
Yeah.
I haven't even had one.
I know.
If you look under the immunization program down in the second page, she does mention that,
500.
they've given over 500 flu, so I'm assuming the 500 number up there is accurate and the 194 is inaccurate.
Correct. I'm still concerned about one of the things that we learned at CCI about jail nursing and opioid addiction, and that we may be forced at some point, another one of these unfunded mandates from your governor, that we're gonna have to follow up with folks who are released from jail and
Yeah, I didn't like to hear that.
provide
We're gonna track them.
opiate
Yeah.
treatment beyond the time that they serve in jail.
And they
This is
suppose they're
very
gonna fund
scary.
us to do that?
I don't know where the
I
money
doubt
comes
it.
from.
I mean, it's almost ludicrous, huh?
Yeah, it's
Not
crazy.
almost, it is ludicrous.
It's ridiculous.
I
It's
mean,
like, what, are we gonna be married to that person the rest of their life just because they were incarcerated in our jail?
right, I mean, someone makes a mistake,
That
they
doesn't
get
make-
arrested,
No,
and
it
they
doesn't make
makes a
sense.
mistake, they get arrested, and we have to pamper them for the rest of their life, this is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Alright, off my high horse.
So, let's see. You've indicated he's our governor.
I said your governor,
I know
didn't say
that.
our.
You said your governor, I'm assuming you
He
mean
meant,
us.
he meant
I mean
the,
you,
So he's
yeah.
not your governor,
Well, he is my governor in position,
okay?
I'm not thrilled with him, I will tell you that.
Okay, you think we are?
I don't know what your philosophy is, although I
know.
could strongly
He's your
guess
governor.
what it is, considering the three of us sat there when you walked up to the podium.
We had
Okay.
to do it.
Now, I just wonder if your governor's gonna change to our governor, or if you're gonna leave him,
The governor is what.
oh, we could do the governor.
Alright, I rephrase it, I take it back, the governor of
There
Colorado,
you go, alright,
such
Gotcha.
as he is. because of
okay, unfinished business, gentlemen?
I have none, sir.
No.
I was gonna bring up Kunkelman just only from a point of view of timing. He didn't put in his note, if you noticed, the date.
No.
He wanted the week of the 16th, he rambles on about the things we're gonna do, but he hasn't sent out what day it really
Right,
is yet.
I
So
think he was trying to get consensus on a date,
But he said he didn't, he said then he's gonna go get a VTC kind of thing going, but I'll send a note back to him and ask him what day he's really thinking about it, because it's coming up pretty quick.
yeah.
Let me throw something out,
Yes, sir.
now that
Go
we're
ahead.
kind of way ahead of schedule and we're close to
Don't
wrapping.
ruin it now, Jay.
No, I'm gonna bring up something that you're gonna go, ooh, no, you may not, you may go, that idiot. I believe by statute, we need to meet once a month, a minimum. However, we meet 4 times a month, which is absolutely appropriate. I'm wondering if we can't pick a commissioner's time where we have maybe a 2-week period without a meeting,
Oh.
so that my wife could take me on a cruise or something. Just a question, we really have a problem scheduling a vacation for commissioners because of this, the way we do our schedule. This is not a complaint, I signed on understanding what we're getting to do, I'm fine with it. I'm just wondering if maybe once a year we could skew the schedule such that we could have 2 weeks off, without a meeting. It's just a thought.
January,
I was gonna say,
Yeah, January.
Just hurry up and buy that
I kinda
cruise.
had forgot about that
That's why I didn't wanna get into
January
the,
thing, but,
What are we talking about, January?
well, we're going to meet twice, 2 days in
Oh,
January.
yes, that's correct.
But the second Tuesday in the last,
yeah, so that's really not
Day.
a 2 weeks, is it?
yeah, it's kinda.
It's
I'm
just a
sorry, you
thought.
have to go on a shorter
No,
cruise.
I've thought about it as well, especially since I've felt an increased pressure serving on the Sangre de Cristo Electric Board of Directors too. I have really, hello, sir.
That's over the sheriff's.
That's okay.
Let's
I
go.
think we're back up and running. I don't know, old Blackie just wanted to throw a fit and stick his head in the ground this morning, so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
It kept telling me I didn't have the disk space to open a document on my,
Very odd.
yeah. But now I just opened one, so it seems like it's,
Okay,
I shut it off
Just have
twice, back to back.
brain freeze for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you wanna bring it by on Monday, I'll
Thank
work
you,
on
sir.
it.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you. Sangre de Cristo Electric's changed one of their board members to accommodate a conflict because of one of our board members. And then the other day, we talked about moving hours to accommodate one of those conferences. But, yeah, I talked to a couple commissioners at CCI about their schedule, because I thought it'd just be interesting to see
It's kind of what.
our neighbors to the south meet every Tuesday. So they don't get that 2-week block either. But they like it because then they can build the rest of their week around other stuff, knowing they're gonna meet once a week. But no, not really any different than us. We
It's
know
not
when we're gonna meet, it's
we
just they
we
meet
just double up on days.
once a week, yeah, so. I think it merits some thought. Maybe between now
Well,
and
and what we've done in the past too is if somebody, if you gotta go to somewhere, we can move a meeting.
Right.
For as long as we know ahead of time.
Yeah, I understand, but it'd be,
It'd be nice just to know that block's
I
there.
think you're suggesting if we're gonna do that, let's move it at the beginning of the year at some point, then we can all look to say, okay, we're gonna have
They'll all be off
2
at the same
weeks.
time.
When we don't
the
have to
problem
be
with all
here.
of us being off is if something occurs, we need to be,
Right.
somebody needs to be accessible.
Kelly.
So-
They
Kelly
used,
can do it.
they used to not have a mid-month meeting in December. That's only been
Right, since we come on
since you
and,
guys,
yeah,
And we don't need.
And that, so then that would lead from that
like today.
Give it
first,
2 weeks.
through-
yeah, through the end of the month.
It's just a thought, I'm just, you know,
Right.
just a thought.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
The only set schedule let's deal with.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a strong feeling one way or another. We're not great vacation takers. We should do better, but we just don't as a family.
You know, I got too many kids scattered
What is
around.
this
I gotta-
vacation thing you speak of?
Yeah.
Did what?
What is this vacation thing
I
you
guess it's
speak
where you
of?
just don't show up to work. I don't know. I never,
You work at home,
Huh,
that's what my
Maybe you
vacations are.
that's what our vacation
What I do.
is. Going
you
somewhere?
just go somewhere.
Go somewhere? Oh. That is a radical concept.
It is. Although I managed to do it this year, so.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
hated every minute.
And now you
Yeah.
say you'll never do that again.
No, I won't do that again. No. I'll go a different direction. Yeah, I was gonna look here, J and C, under, CCI's document that they put out for new commissioners, see if I could find the statute that deals with the meetings
I
themselves.
heard that from, Dennis Hunt was the one who mentioned that to me. I did not actually look at the statute.
What'd you hear that he said the,
He mentioned it to me one time.
Counties
Something
under
came up and
50,000.
he said that each, the commissioners are required by ordinance, or right,
Only
for
one
instance,
meeting.
statute, to meet once a month. He says nobody does, everybody meets more than that, but you're required to
minimum
meet
of once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
we
I
can
say,
choose.
under 50,000, over 50,000, they have to meet once a week.
And that,
By
that
statute,
sounds about
yeah.
right.
Well, I think it is once a week versus
They have,
4 times.
is that
a-
when they have 5 commissioners, right?
Yes, correct.
So they could be one short and still, I mean, if one said I'm gonna take
Right.
2 meetings off or something like that.
that's why they, get into more things outside the county than we do.
Right.
Because they got the ability to do it.
And I'm not trying to
Well,
create
yeah,
an issue
that
here. I'm
and,
just bringing
no,
this
I
up.
get
They
it.
can keep the meetings going.
The other thing about, and I thought about this too,
I'm getting some mud, I'm not leaving.
that the reason those commissioners get more involved at state levels, cause they typically, those more than 50,000 people, they're on the front range. It's easy for them to go to Denver to those meetings. It's a little tough for us to get on those committees, steering committees, I
Yeah,
thought
it
about
is.
You know, there are several of the state committees I would be interested in joining, but I think the same way you do. It kills an entire day to go to a 1-hour meeting.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Right.
It doesn't, it's just not.
Well, and if you wanted to go to the steering committee, which I did last year, I went to 2 of them. You gotta go up either the night before, well, you have to go the night before, cause they start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no doubt.
And,
And I'm very cautious about turning expense reports and spending county money.
speaking of that, I thought I saw your
Whenever you get together.
voucher in your mailbox. You get it turned in this last.
Oh, you know, I'll give you, yes, you're good.
I don't want to
No.
create pressure.
No, you're just
Do I need
fine.
I know.
Well,
Donna, he is.
cell phone usage,
Have
yeah.
sympathy.
I mean,
That was for November or December.
I don't know, I never turn these things in.
How are you guys doing? You still vacating?
No,
I agree with you, it is, I would like to do a couple more things outside the county, but I'm doing Action 22, and, roads of, the byways thing, I'm having a hard time with the byways.
It's difficult.
It is hard.
yeah, well, those meet down here in southern Colorado.
Well, yeah, at least you can drive to Pueblo, or you can go to Colorado City, but going
I've
to
gone to the CDOT meetings, and those are in Colorado Springs, but the Denver ones are really a problem.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'd like to sit in a legislative session, haven't,
you know, I went to underfunded and went up the night before. I ended up staying in a, well, it wasn't, I mean, it was reasonable, but it was
You know,
still
Colfax.
$80 a night.
We used to reasonable,
And you get, yeah.
80's
you
really
get
good.
downtown, forget it. I couldn't get a room downtown for less than $400.
Yeah, that-
what?
Yeah. So I said,
Yeah,
I'll
that's-
drive
that's
in.
crazy.
So,
400.
So I just wanted to throw that bug out there and see.
you know, to get to an 8 o'clock meeting downtown Denver, you probably need to leave here at 4
Right,
at the latest.
right.
Downtown, it's a whole nother ballgame. You just don't drive
I
in and
left
park.
at 4:30 the other day when I did the underfunded.
Did you? Yeah.
I got up at 3, I think.
Yeah. And that's brutal. I mean,
They were ahead of me when I got there, when I did the same thing, but at 6, I think.
Okay, let's move on. Consideration of funding the audio project for the boardroom. As you're very well aware of, I submitted a grant to SIPA for that, Statewide Internet Portal Authority, and I talked with those folks at CCI. 2 gals there, and I said, I need to ask you a question. I said, is SIPA grants reimbursable grants? And she said, no.
I was there,
And I said, do you have to, that's right, we stood there together, didn't we?
yes.
And I said, well, can we expend the money before we get the grant? She said, absolutely, if you want to, that's fine. So my thinking, and I told her that, I said, well, the reason I'm asking is if we wait until those funds are dispersed by SIPA, which are mid-April, we're 4 months, that's 16 more meetings without any audio help.
Are they guaranteed to get them?
No, she said now. She said if
That's
you
a
want to spend
risk.
the money, she said if you have the money and you think it's a need, which obviously you do, or you wouldn't have submitted a grant for it, you can do it now, and you just reimburse yourselves. if you
What
get the
group
grant.
does it? Are they sympathetic to little counties?
Yes, SIPA is
Yeah.
very sympathetic.
Yeah, and it's technology. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what they fund is technology only. So,
We've gotten money from them in the past.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's what paid for the live streaming. Yeah. So, go ahead.
I guess the question would be, what does our building and maintenance budget look like? Because I would suspect that would be an appropriate place to take out of. We're talking about $3,600-ish?
Yeah, $3,600.
Okay.
I talked to
wouldn't it be
Donna
capital
about that,
investment?
and Donna suggested we take it out of capital improvement
Yeah.
versus building and plant.
And I'm fine with that.
And
But
she said you'd be
I think there's
fine.
enough in there,
Oh yeah.
a lot
I think-
more to the risk than.
I think this is something that our constituency really needs. I, for one, know that I'm not loud enough at times, not intentionally. I know I've heard many comments about when people speak sitting in that chair with their back to the camera,
Nobody can hear.
Right.
Yeah.
they can hear the front row, but people speaking in the back do not. I think since we've gone the step of live streaming, it just makes sense to me to go to an audio system. I'm assuming it'll somehow be tied into
It will,
this system.
See, I'd go a step further. I would, we have, right, for example, we got Sally Clark coming, and she's got somebody calling in to talk to us. They need a sort of like a BTC capability. I wouldn't go that far maybe, but somebody, so they can hear us and we can hear them on the phone better, and the people that are here can hear who we're discussing it. I know we've had problems at Wetmore, for example, or even here.
Right.
And you get the real deal. Now, you run a risk doing that too, because live streaming, sort of like a live VTC, you get a lot of people calling in maybe to ask questions on public comment, which maybe is not that big a deal either, I don't know. But it would be great to have that technology.
So how about we put consideration of this on the 18th meeting, and we could either vote to approve or not vote to approve it.
That's why I put consideration of it today. I was hoping if we get to vote
Why can't we
today.
do it today?
Excuse me, I guess if I did my homework and
Yes,
read
ma'am.
that part of it, I would have known. So I move.
Now, you may continue, and then we'll have some more discussion. That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
if
what
I
it
do
is.
that, I would say I move that we, allocate, $3,600 from capital reserve, to purchase, a audio system for the commissioner's room to assist in, disseminating information to the public when we have meetings.
I'll second it so we can talk.
And just a friendly amendment, capital improvement, not capital fund.
SIP.
I'm sorry, capital improvement, I meant to say that.
I thought you did, so.
So I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we, authorize expenditure of up to $3,600 out of capital improvement for audio, upgrade to the boardroom. Discussion.
Yeah, let me, maybe you wanna amend it, only from this point of view. I think we ought to get Vern or whoever to let's assess what we really need to do it right, rather than capping it at $3,600 now. I'd like to see a sort of, I can see a projector down there so we can project stuff up here or onto the our computers or whatever, so we can see what people are talking about. I see microphones, I see speakers, a VTC capability, whatever it is. we ought to get a system proposed, so we can take a look at it and see what the costs are. Don't you think, before?
Well, I
can
sent
we
you
do it
an
in
email
2 steps?
with that. That's been done, not the video, but.
No, that's what, but I know that the just putting in a microphone thing he's looked at.
Well, what Vern and I spoke about was 4 microphones in this table, one for each of us, one for whoever's presenting to us, and then 2 additional ones
Hand around back
in the
there.
audience, just maybe hanging from the ceiling or something.
Yeah, something
whatever
like
the
that.
appropriate way to do that, so that we're sound. But your point about, are we
We
cutting
have to
ourselves
protect it.
short about maybe not adding audio visual too, is a fair question.
Yeah.
I guess the real question is, as long as I've been here, I can't think of 4 or 5 times we had to pull that screen down to
That's
actually use
because
it.
we don't
So
have
I'm
the
wondering if-
capability.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, if we had it, would we use it more, or we just really
And it's
don't need it?
transferable, and if we move, I mean, we can take it.
Yeah, I mean, when we needed it, we just pull the screen down, we plug in a projector and
Yeah.
run it. Here's the document that went with the grant. It was about improving the audio. That's what I wrote the grant for.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, if we wanna write another grant later on to do the audio or the visual part of it, we can do that. But, I sent this document to you this morning so you would, so you could see those.
So this would include
One yesterday.
a capability to make sure that the speakerphone, when we have somebody dialing in, can be heard by everybody.
Well, yeah, we've already got that. It's in
Well, it's
that,
not very good.
wherever that cabinet went, actually back there, black cabinet, so.
Actually, I thought that new one worked.
Yeah, we only.
This is louder, for sure,
Which,
the one they're doing. So,
yeah, I
maybe we
mean,
don't need it.
I felt like it functioned real well when you called in.
Get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Will this stuff be will you be able to take it to Wetmore? Because there's
Portable?
No.
real
That's the
problems
way I
down
see
there.
it.
I
Right.
wonder if you should
Make it broader?
have something that you can take to Wetmore, or leave in Wetmore. I mean, those people wanna hear too, and it's really hard to hear down there,
Well, maybe that's a good idea, it can be big enough.
'cause it's such a big
Yeah.
A
room.
little portable thing with a
Well,
microphone
yeah.
back there for them,
Right.
maybe, I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's no-
Don't need a permanent system.
There's
but-
no portability into this. This was designed,
Right.
spec'd out for this room, but your
Big
point's well
microphone.
taken.
Yeah, right, but
You
should
could
we
have a
do
little
something
amp and something
additionally
takes
to
it.
Wetmore?
Sure.
Right.
And then I guess, you know, if you really wanna get carried away, what about the airport, and what about San
Well, you would,
Isabel? I
that
mean,
system would be a portable one, in my eyes, you can set
Well,
up
yeah,
a
if you
couple
had a
speakers
portable
and a
one, you
mic
could
to
do it
walk
anywhere.
around, that would
Right.
be okay.
You mean kind of a separate little
Sure,
speaker
put
and
a
a
couple
mic?
microphones on the table and pass it to each other.
That'd be a separate deal, but I
Sure.
don't have.
And that would be able to take it to San Isabel or the airport.
Oh gosh, San Isabel was so hard to hear this year. Since they
Yeah, it's always
redesigned
got
that,
the motors going in the
that
back.
thing down there, it was bad.
No, I mean, the musicians are carrying around a little amp and having no problem.
Right.
We could do something.
The other thing I think you ought to consider is to have Vernon come up with a plan for you guys in case you want to meet with somebody in a video format. Like I talked about yesterday, twice yesterday you guys said, we want so-and-so to drive down here from whatever to meet with us. Well, he could do that from his desk.
We could Skype.
Skype in.
Right.
Let it
Right.
tie in and have them
And
talking to
it
us,
could go right up there to the,
to the projector
well, you could have a projector, I'm sure we
on our
have one.
computers. So the question is, go back to the motion, we ought to allow for the 2 things we've talked about, the ability to include capability of some sort for portability. And
I tell you how I feel,
That
I
might be
think your
a-
point is extremely well taken, and I appreciate it, but I think for this particular motion, and you could vote it down and then make a different one if you choose, since we already have the CIFA grant requested for this amount, the scope of the
what was
project.
it, $3,600
Hang on a
cap? I
second,
didn't know
please.
that.
The scope of the project, at least to this point, was for this room.
Right.
I would I would feel more comfortable moving on that, and then you can turn around and make another
Well,
motion
what we
for
could
something
do is just
different if
use
you
our
want.
capital investment anyway, and then it's not gonna be that expensive for the additional thing maybe, so I'm good with that. I didn't know that it,
Your point is very well
so
taken
this is what you
about
put it
a
in for, that
portable
exact
system.
number, Tom,
Right,
or was it
that's what the
$3,100?
grant was written for,
A
$3,600.
portable system makes sense.
Okay,
However, it wasn't what
Right,
I envisioned
Okay.
at the time I made the motion.
right.
yeah, I didn't realize that.
Well, and it wasn't what we wrote the grant for.
Correct,
That's
and
right.
that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm good.
I don't disagree either that there's a need there, I just don't think it is applicable to what
Right,
we're
I
talking
get
about
it.
here.
That's kinda how I feel.
That's sort of how it came up.
Right.
Alright,
So the intent was, that, why I put it on the agenda in the form of consideration, if we did pass this, then, I would get with Vern, we would get this equipment purchased. My intention is by January meetings to have the table done, we're gonna incorporate some of this into that table. The power strip, the mics will actually attach to the table itself. So we'd like to get this equipment purchased between now and the first of the year, so that in January, hopefully we get started
That's
with the whole new system.
the only question I have then would be $3,600, do we have it in the capital investment fund?
Capital
whatever it is,
improvement, yes.
plan now, that if we never got reimbursed,
Yes.
it's gonna be paid for,
Right.
and we'll absorb it, next year's budget, be fine.
Exactly.
Be nice to be reimbursed, and we got the
Right.
$3,600 to go do some other improvement somewhere.
Yeah, your point's well taken. I'd rather risk the 3,600 and get it going instead of waiting until April. Cause I think it's a need, whether we get the grant or not, I still think we
Sure,
should
we do.
spend the money, to get that done. Now, obviously, we'll cross this bridge when we get to it, but that means we're gonna have to change our format a little bit, that we're gonna speak into microphones. But hopefully, I won't have to be slide back,
Well,
so
if we
you
get
guys
them
can see each
coming down out
other.
of the, I've seen the ones that hang,
Right.
and they're very good, omnidirectional.
Yeah.
We just
I
gotta see
trust-
what Vern
I
comes
trust
up with.
Vern
And
to
I-
recommend the right thing to us.
That's what I told him, I said, you recommend what you think, I think these are gonna be mounted microphones similar to what's in the
I mean,
courthouse, so, I don't know, but,
see what they come up with.
I've been around those ceiling hung mics, I've seen them in a couple other
Uproar,
commissioner
yes.
changes, and I don't think they're very effective,
Depends on how they work on it, right?
because I sit with my back to part of those people in Upper Ark, it's a guessing game what they're talking about.
I don't think they know
To
how to
me, for
work.
them to work, they gotta get hung down where you can get to them, but I asked Vern, you do what you think is best for our
I've seen the
needs.
technology in the aerospace industry, Lockheed and Raytheon, the ones that hang down are about this high, and they work really well, if they, balance them out right. Now, I don't know if it can happen or not, but let's let them.
Well, I just asked Vern to recommend what he thought would be best for
Sure.
our application, so that's where we're at. If you wanna make a change in that, then,
Well, it's not a change, he's gotta come up with a mic program.
well, it's right here, these are what we're buying.
Oh, he spec'd out the actual equipment?
Yeah,
I didn't
Yes,
look at
sir.
that part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
now let me talk to him.
so we either go with this or we don't, we gotta decide that today, cause I'm gonna tell him, let's order this equipment unless we're gonna do something different.
I'm a little
There's a
worried.
motion second on the table,
Just,
I guess we can take a vote and see if we're
one
gonna
quick
approve it or
question
not.
though, so what are we doing, does he have something to pass a mic around to the people talking back to us, or not?
What I
No,
So people are not gonna hear a question when public comments
we
are there.
can add that, it's an 8-channel mixer. So we could always add those wireless mics if we wanted to.
See, that's the advantage of the stuff hanging down.
I was under the
now.
impression he was gonna hang two in this room
Um,
and four were to sit at
And
this
that
table.
may be included in this, wireless
Call
mesh,
Vern.
I can ask him about
Call
that,
Vern.
but,
Let's see what he's got.
Do you want me to have him come over here?
Well, if he can, but he can talk, we can ask him, have him come over, we're enough.
We've got
We
time.
got time, we got 5 more minutes.
5 minutes, heck, if we work off yesterday's schedule, we got
We got
4
5
more
hours.
However,
Uh-oh.
Come in, come in,
Are you
come
still
in.
going?
Yeah, but we're kinda in the middle of a,
We're in a
Hiatus.
little recess.
Can we do
You're
a
in, oh,
recess
you're
for
in
5 minutes?
recess?
yeah, let's go into recess for a few minutes. Cause we're waiting on Vern to come talk to us.
Oh, okay. What? I was just gonna.
Did you get arrested?
But we can still have
Yeah,
conversation.
no, I just reached another 70 by
Oh,
70 lot.
nice.
Taxi lane that's not there, so,
Booming out there.
it is.
But it's budgeted, that expenditure's been budgeted,
So,
so
yeah,
you
we
probably
just-
need to talk to Gary again and say,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah.
When they want it, build it.
Spring, this spring.
That's good.
So,
Well, cool.
I'm gonna run the airport gift shop.
you want
It's gonna be great.
a little coffee shop?
Yeah.
Let me forward you this guy.
Well,
Uh,
it was,
I'm gonna
More?
forward you what I sent to Bob Jolly. You wanna,
Oh.
the guy that wants
All right, my friend, thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.
Crowd you got here.
Hey Vern, fancy seeing you here.
Yes, sir.
Feeling any better or not?
Doesn't look like it.
I'm going home after this.
Well, we've got a motion on the floor, to expend the $3,600, $3,605 on our grant request. Some questions.
Apologies.
That's all right.
Okay, just don't sneeze this way, sneeze over there.
Don't breathe this way.
And I've got your document pulled up here. Did that include any ceiling hung mic for the audience or not? I can't
So
remember.
the mics are on a pad about yay big, little boom, and they are wireless. And they can be moved anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually eight
Okay.
wireless mics, so we could hang one from the ceiling right there if that's what you.
Are they omnidirectional?
Mm-hmm.
Are they, what's the range on it? So if you need one in this
Probably,
size room?
I probably need two. Probably need two back there to pick up both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
And does that
6.
feed into the audio on either one of these systems so that people that are live streaming can hear the questions and stuff, then hear us talking, or will it over boost it so it'll distort the sound they're getting already distorted?
We'll have to tweak it a bit because each one of these channels has basically a gain amplifier on it. So if somebody's speaking a little bit louder, let's say Cliff decides to speak louder, Kara can actually turn it down or something like that.
So it's got a master panel?
It's got a master panel that'll actually sit back there. We won't have to have this here
See, that's a
anymore.
problem with a lot of places like the upper arc. They don't pay attention. They got mics on there where everybody can hear them.
And the
I
lights,
understand that. And that's, so this mic system, it's got the eight microphones and it feeds wirelessly to a control box, which acts as a mixer. Whenever you have multiple microphones, you have to have a mixer to be able to control the audio levels, otherwise they distort each other.
Okay.
So they feed into a mixer box, and that mixer box would then plug into this here, and the audio that went through that mixer would go through there.
So another problem.
so the streaming you can
Streaming
actually
would
hear
be
the streaming.
amplified.
Exactly.
The only other thing, from a musician's point of view, you get feedback if there's a speaker blasting this way and a mic picking it up here and another mic that's picking it up.
And we haven't, I did actually talk about the BOCC speaker to put over there that would broadcast. We'll have to, that's why Kara would have to be able to adjust that if that's the case. We'll do some fine tuning. It's not like we'll just plug it in.
That sounds like a pretty good system.
It's the research I did. We could.
Is it a BOCC system?
Well, the BOCC system is the speaker. Those are some of the best Bluetooth enabled or wireless enabled speakers there are. I've actually seen them in a conference where a little box about this big did the work of 4 big speakers.
Like those radios.
It doesn't last long on the battery, but it does well. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I was proposing with that.
Right. Yeah, Commissioner Canada had asked about the suspended microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I
looked at the
included
wired
that.
microphones, and if this was a drop ceiling, I would have gone with the wired microphones. But as it is, we will having wires run through here would not
Makes
look very
sense.
nice. So the wireless system seems to be the most dynamic that we can use.
That being said, if we wanted to take this system to Wetmore, could we?
Yeah, it would
Would
just
it be
be
a
better.
huge deal?
Be a matter of taking the camera and the little box about you big, and I'll put it into like a briefcase deal with and we'll label everything so it all can be plugged in together.
You don't mean camera. You mean
You
Well,
have a
if you-
live stream if we.
Well, if you wanted to live
we
stream,
did everything.
Yeah, if you wanted to do everything, yeah, we could do that. It's a modular system, so
you
it's
can
not
set
too
up and tear
difficult.
down easy.
Really?
But could you take the audio without taking the
I
camera?
could do that too.
Yeah,
That would be.
which, that's kind of what I was asking about, was I hadn't thought really about taking the audio or the live stream down there, but.
So for the future,
Mhm.
if a BTC kind of thing, or getting people that are calling in, want to do a Skype kind of
Okay.
thing, can you adapt to that later
That
on?
would be a little bit more interesting. Incorporating Skype directly into the live stream would be,
Pretty hard.
it's not difficult, but it would require another computer and someone sitting there logging in.
We could do that.
And making certain that everything was balanced, so.
And I
But as a speaker, as the or assuming as a Skype speaker picking up a microphone, that wouldn't be too difficult, no.
And so from a live stream today, the way we are
Uh-huh.
now with the Bose speakers, it would be a bit more beneficial to the audio that we currently have.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Because right now, we basically pick up everything on this little
I
deal
know,
right
it's
here.
just bad.
And that was
Yeah.
really kind of the driver, right? There was two of them. One, we wanted to increase the audio here in this room, plus
Right.
two, we wanted to improve the quality of audio on our live stream.
Mhm.
So can you bring the audio in wirelessly into the live stream rather than picking it up on a little mic? You're still gonna use that little mic?
Well, no, we're not
No,
gonna,
that
no,
goes
we'll
away.
use that box that I mentioned, the
Okay,
mixer
yeah.
box, will plug directly
Oh, that's
in
what I
here.
mean, okay,
Yeah.
so it is a direct, that's
Back
very
there, you won't have to
Yeah.
set up
then
here.
that's really
Right.
good.
So,
That's
Exactly.
a lot.
yeah, it'll be a direct audio amplification into the live stream.
Mhm.
We're
And
gonna
that-
have to give Kara a raise.
No, we're buying,
She's gonna be what do you call those guys that run those, mixers?
Audio engineer.
Audio
Oh, yeah,
engineer.
DJ, yeah.
Yeah, DJ.
so
too.
she is getting a raise because this grant
DJC. Okay.
includes a new computer for her back there. So that's part of it, right? The new Dell computer will sit
Right.
back there.
And then I worked in an overhead projector and the power
sure, you
strips
did
and
whatever
cables and
you
stuff
think
like
I
that.
was.
So, yeah, because, having a nice overhead projector for presentations
Yeah, we need
would
that.
work out well. And
Okay.
like if we went in, and this could be switched over directly to the courtroom too.
So we take it in there or plug into their system?
I would take it in there. Their system, I don't like to play with the state sandbox.
Yeah.
I like it,
So,
let's do it.
all right, sir. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate
Did
it.
you want that?
No, thank you. Get well.
Get better.
I'm trying.
Appreciate you holding your sneeze too.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, further discussion. Hearing none, we'll proceed to public comment. Sorry. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I couldn't hear Clint, or Jay, can you
I
amplify him?
couldn't-
Can you amplify him for me?
We'll amplify him, yeah. We'll amplify him, so. All right, well, good. We'll see how things progress with the SIPA grant, but those ladies were pretty excited that
Very nice.
they said they were gonna
Just down their alley, huh?
carry our torch for us to the board that actually votes on the grants. Those two gals didn't they weren't voting members, but hello, sir. So consideration of transfer of funds to the Conservation Trust Fund, is that you, Ms. Kelly?
She's
Yes.
begging again.
So this is, $1,222.97 from the general fund to the conservation fund. And what it is we do this every December, it's for interest earned.
I move you wanna say transfer this money, or do we want?
Yeah, transfer from the general fund.
Well, the, $1,222.97 from the general fund to the Conservation Trust Fund.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to transfer $1,222.97 from the general fund to the Conservation Trust Fund. Discussion. Kelly, anything else?
Nope,
Okay.
easy.
Public comment. Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do we have that document to sign?
I'm this one that signs this one.
Oh, you just sign it? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, good. Thank you all. And then consideration of notice for the statutory and non-statutory legal publication bids for 2020. We have copies of last year's letters if you'd like to refer to those, gentlemen. We can start with Sandra DeCristo Sentinel first.
By email, Jack.
This just is a copy of last year's letter, so we would need to make the necessary changes on the dates, but I thought the rest of it was probably applicable.
Did you send that out on an email?
That's, I'm just, I was looking to
Yeah,
I don't remember seeing it.
may not, I
I'm-
can email these
see. I
to
was
you.
gonna say, I'm printing
gentlemen.
them out right now, if y'all would like to look
Yeah.
at them, just in case.
I pulled them off of last year's board packets where I got them.
There's no changes really.
Well,
It's
that's
just
what,
a
that's what,
request for bid is all it
Right.
is.
that's what we've gotta decide is if we're gonna make any changes or not, but,
What I meant was it's, the
I-
format's the same.
I don't have any reason to change the format myself, I mean, for what little I know about it actually, but.
Get my fingers short.
We'll need to select whatever dates we want. Generally, this needs to be done before a January meeting, or,
Yeah.
yes.
Bids have to be in by
Needs to
then.
be
Yeah.
done now.
So, we meet on the 31st of December,
We do.
so I would say we probably ought to have these back,
27th,
well, yeah.
For the 31st meeting.
or you can do the 30th.
I would say the 30th and
And open them on the
we'll
31st.
open on the 31st.
What did we say here? How come we did it this way last year? That's
Let's see,
21st we had it
sealed
done.
bids will be opened on the 31st of,
Cause I think we
We
did
had
it
to
during
do-
the mid-month meeting last year.
Well, we did it on the
The
5th,
25th
No.
last year.
is when we said to go after it, and we asked them to return the bids at
At
4
20.
p.m. on the 21st.
It
Yeah,
says the
'cause we
bids
did
would
it
be
at
opened
the
on the
mid-month.
31st.
right,
Right.
and so now we're gonna
So this
change
is-
that
just
to
change
the
those to-
30th.
Yeah, that's what I
Is
said.
that? all
Well,
right with
nobody's
you
gonna
guys?
be here. Kelly's gone vacation.
Yeah, going
Uh,
on a cruise.
so let's see, I changed these dates, let's check and see if they line up with what we talked about actually. So December the 6th is when we're
So we're talking about it.
requesting the 2020
Yep.
publications. Oops. Requesting bids for the upcoming year 2020.
2020.
And paragraph 3 will be accepted
4 p.m. on
until 4 p.m. on December 30th,
Thursday, the 30th. What day is that?
Friday.
No, it's Monday.
The 30th.
Oh, 30th is Monday, sorry, yeah. Sealed bids will be open during the regular BOCC meeting on Tuesday,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Did you get this one right there?
Hold on just a second, sir.
31st.
Yes. Tuesday,
And
December 31st.
19.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
it was just a thought.
You can air it if you like.
No.
So the only 2020 date on this document is the last word of the first paragraph, or the last.
No,
No, the very last one.
the second line too.
There's 2 of them.
I'm sorry, I had it there and just missed it. Yeah,
There's actually
already
3.
got it.
Or 1. No, there's 2. 1.
A deadline and opening and an awarding. Is that-
Well, we voted to do it
So there's
in
2.
19 for the 2020 publication.
Right, so
Really,
we-
it's
those
duplicated in there twice in the
Yeah, you
first
got it.
paragraph.
First paragraph.
Doesn't really need to be, but other than that,
I think
Yes,
the
sir.
last line is kind of wrong. The BOCC reserves the right to accept or reject any and all bids. You can't reject them all because we have to have a publication of record.
we could reject those bids and
You can make them
re-request.
redo them.
Well, I guess you could do that. Who you gonna
That
request it
happens.
from?
Them
Same
again to
paper.
rebid.
Just say we're not gonna accept either one of these bids, you gotta
Alright,
come in
okay.
lower, or,
Okay.
Or
Then I had
There's a
this
state
question.
there's a state a place they do it online.
right.
Can we do this online? or do we
That
have
was
to
my
have-
question with Kelly this morning, is do we need to consider online paper? Our conversation was probably not, but,
Well, but we have a third paper now, and I'm pointing that way because Tracy often sits out there, she would give her an opportunity to bid also, if
Boy,
online is acceptable, and I think this is,
That's apples and oranges. It would be really hard for a print and I don't care, but a print paper could not possibly compete
no,
with,
no.
because it costs
And
you
I-
nothing to post it.
it has to be printed
I tried
because
to
there are
look up-
people that don't bid online.
we need to know
So it
I
has
don't-
to be printed.
the if the statute says that, I'll agree with you. If the
Right.
statute doesn't, I won't agree with you.
Right. Yeah, and I was gonna look that up this morning after I talked to Kelly, and I didn't.
Well, I think there is a state site, or, I know Laura has told me about it, that,
I have looked at
that
this
all of this
before, I just
stuff
don't
is,
remember.
is posted to anyway. So I don't know whether you're required to do it in a print paper. It just, you know, I don't
I
know.
don't know, but I'd sure like to know the answer before I ordered this to anybody. Personally.
Well, we can sure take a
The
recess
one day
and find
you're-
out. It's just a
Call
matter of
Clinton,
looking
see
it
if he's out of
If
his.
you can't.
He's at a
Bless
doctor's
you.
appointment.
I think I can, I got it in my file, I think I can put my hands on it pretty quickly.
Okay,
If you
would
can't
you wanna
find
go look?
some.
I'll continue to look here as well, but I don't even really know what to look under. I thought notification, but, maybe under legal notice. I mean, I don't even know where to look. Jay, would you have any idea?
I don't remember.
I think I'll call Dennis then.
There was actually a website that talks about this, cause that's where I got my information. Cause I think I did this for Westcliff at one point. The question came up, how do we have to do this? And I don't remember the answer.
Are we taking another recess?
We can if you want, yes.
I don't know. We can call
And I'm
Dennis
not
now.
trying to create issues, I'm just trying to
Well, I
make
asked
sure
her
that
this
we have,
morning.
I want the information so we can make a good decision, that's all I'm concerned about.
'Cause I thought the same thing. Do we need to legal notice?
So it says, Colorado law requires that all public notices and legal advertisements published in Colorado newspapers be uploaded to a centralized website maintained by the Colorado Press Association. So that's probably what I was thinking, I'm
Yeah,
still
and
looking
I'm
at.
familiar with that. I knew they were all online also, but the real question is, do they need to be?
It's in 24.
Yeah, 24/27, I think, isn't it?
24/6.
24/6.
Oh, no, 24/6,
Okay.
402.
What is it? CRS 24/6 what? 402?
402 is where I'm at,
2C.
yeah. Any meetings? That's talking about public notice of meetings, no less than 24 hours, so that's not what we're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at.
24/70/103.
We could have Kara do all this.
24/70/108.
She knows all these.
108?
Designate the official newspaper of the county, 24/70/108.
Okay. Designation of legal newspaper.
Swab off the table.
I was gonna do it now, I'll get it.
In all cases in court, in all cases producing brought in court.
Use a Kleenex.
House break it, Kleenex.
Whatever he has, I don't know.
Wherein the law requires publication of a legal notice or advertisement, or said legal notice or advertisement is published. The party, that's not really it either, Kel.
Well, I thought.
Said newspaper, this is about indebtedness,
Well, it says the
deeds of
board
trust.
shall designate the official newspaper of the county, CRS 24/70/108.
Said newspaper shall be a legal newspaper defined by law and shall be published in the county where such publication is required to be made by law or rules of the civil procedure.
It has to be published 52 consecutive weeks prior to the first issue that you guys use it.
Wow, I do remember initially talking about that. I
Yep.
don't see where that's at,
That's
but
in 24/70/103.
103.
Mm-hmm.
Requisites of a legal newspaper. Any and every legal notice or advertisement shall be published only in a daily, tri-weekly, semi-weekly, or weekly newspaper of general circulation, and printed or published in whole or in part in the county in which such notice of advertisement is required. The newspaper shall have been so published in such a county continuously and uninterruptedly during the period of at least 52 consecutive weeks next prior to the first issue thereof containing any such notice or advertisement. So for this year, that answers the
Right,
question.
Yeah,
which
you can
means
do it this year
that-
anyway, but I don't
which
think
means
you-
that you have a little time to get the answer.
She wouldn't qualify.
What did it say? I didn't hear it. Sorry, I'm looking at myself.
I was reading it to you.
I was busy, I'm sorry.
50, the paper has to be
Thank you.
Oh, that's right. It has to be in
continuously
existence
and
long enough.
uninterrupted during
I
a
agree.
period of at least
That
52
ended it right there. It has to be in existence at least a year. Cause I
Right.
remember when the Sentinel first came in.
Right, we couldn't do
They
it.
didn't.
They had to wait for the year
Right.
before they could qualify. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, no, so she's not an issue
Which,
regardless.
which means that you have a little time to run that down and find out whether she qualifies
We're in Arizona.
Right.
for next year.
We're in Arizona.
No, that's a good point.
Okay, I know exactly. My wife's from Arizona. Never saw snow until we got here.
You're welcome. Oh, the joys of Googling.
Yes.
But not never got married.
But I don't see anything where it speaks specifically to an online newspaper.
I'll be darned.
But I agree with Jackie, that's
Small
comparing
world.
apples and oranges when you're looking at
Oh,
competitive
There's
bidding.
no way that, yeah, I mean, she could say, I'll do it for
You do it for $10 a year.
$10
make
a
money.
year, exactly.
But,
So,
but that's not the point. Whether
Same here, that's where I
equitable or
my
not,
master's degree
it's
is.
illegal or not.
Alright, well, I gotta let you
That's
go.
the point, yes.
Thanks a lot.
It
We're
would
talking about
require
whether
people to
it's
have a
ethical.
computer
I
to
will,
look
thanks.
it up.
right.
Well, I mean,
I don't,
Gotta
I
be
have a
printed,
horse
right?
in this race, but
No,
in this
I know.
conversation, I don't care.
But then-
Dennis Hunt just told me it had to be printed.
Yeah, I just read the law, and the law said.
He read it to me, 24 dash, whatever it is, 103, and he says it has to be published in a news, however it reads, and that's how he interprets
24/70,
it.
103.
Well, it's printed or published is what.
Yeah, printed
Uh,
and published.
no.
Was it an or?
24/70, we said.
70,
Anyway, that's
103.
what Dennis just told me. He read the thing out as well.
Well, it also, Bill, while you were on the phone, it also says the paper has to have been run consecutively for 52 weeks
prior to the
before
first.
the first publication.
Oh, is that right?
Hers is new, so
So it
it
wouldn't
would work
exclude
this
that.
week, this year, but it might work next year.
Yeah. Any and every legal notice or advertisement shall be published only in a daily, tri-weekly, semi-weekly, weekly newspaper, and printed or published in
It
whole.
says and.
and therein lies the legal issue,
What's published.
published.
That's why he said printed.
Yeah, two
Is it
different things.
published to a website?
Sure.
See,
Published.
could be. We don't know the answer for sure. We know the issue is right now,
What?
2
Where are
newspapers,
you?
because one doesn't qualify. But it's an issue that may arise next year.
Right.
Yeah, we go get
Okay.
further qualified.
So are we
What's his
okay
advice to
with
us?
the draft to
Yeah.
Sangre de Crystal Sentinel? If
Yes.
we are, then I'll minimize that and we'll look at the
Wordage should be the same.
And these
right?
letters are
Cut and paste.
identical, right? We're just changing
just
dates.
I would just
The
cut and paste
Sentinel and
it.
the Trib are exactly the same.
are they okay? I was
Yeah, they
looking.
are. I'm looking at them right now.
So today is the 6th,
You just flop it right over.
2019.
Yeah, there's no
There's no
difference
difference.
between the letters other than who it's going
Okay.
to.
Do Chair would entertain a motion to the effect.
The effect is, I move that we've made edits to it, so that we,
Submit proposals. Two newspapers.
Yeah, it's just the two newspapers, so we'll send the proposal for two newspapers to bid on
And we did have
the
to
statutory
change
legal
that.
publications bids for
Forgot that.
2020.
Okay. All right, I'll second it. Been moved and seconded to, notify both papers of the request for bids for 2020.
Legal publication bids for 2020.
Just further discussion?
Just to bring this up, we're talking about legal publications, we're not talking about, well, would that include, this is a question, not a criticism, does it include want ads for openings in any other publication that we do within the county?
You can
It's
use
just,
statutory and non-statutory, it says.
Oh, and then non-statutory.
The letter says the bid is to include the cost for countywide publications as required under 247101, legal notice or advertisement.
So
Privately
that's a
supported
non-stat-
legal notice or
okay, so
advertisement.
based on the bids should then have statutory bid and
And
non-statutory.
non-statutory.
Yeah, they always do.
And the assumption to me would be then, if we chose to, we could pick the lower bid for one and the lower bid for the other, which may not be the same paper. Does that make sense? I'm just asking.
I don't,
That's a good question.
it's a
I
good
wonder if,
question. I
you know, if the publishers of said papers would be assuming that if they, you know,
last
that
year we
it's a
kinda got into
package
that.
deal.
Right.
I don't know, I've never seen, as long as I've
I
been doing
don't
this,
know.
I haven't
I'm just
seen
asking the
them
question.
separate it, so I
Good
don't know.
question. If I was in the newspaper business, I'd bid it thinking I'm gonna get them both
Right,
and try to be a little more
That's
competitive.
how,
If that's the case, then
Dennis
what we ought
Hunt's
to do is just
interpretation.
ask for a bid based upon pica, non-pica, and whatever the inch is
that's right,
that
that's
they.
what we did last year, yeah.
Yeah, and not even segregate statutory, non-statutory,
This is
if that's
10
what we wanna
10.
do.
Well, the only place that statutory and non-statutory is mentioned in this is in the title, in the regard line.
But didn't it say it in the law?
So we could drag this meeting on till 1 if we
Sure.
try hard.
No, let's stop dragging this on.
So 24/7.
I think the guys know what to submit. They've been doing it long enough.
Right.
It makes
The
sense
big
to have
question
it,
is,
in
do
my
we
opinion,
know
it
what we're
makes
really
sense to
asking
have,
for?
it makes sense to have one official newspaper for the county. Now, oftentimes when there's job openings and
We
things,
post them
we
both
sent it to
places.
both, and that's just a choice that the
It's our
department
choice.
makes. But
Right.
it makes
How
sense
we
to
want
me,
to
there
spend
should be one official newspaper for the county,
That's,
whoever that is.
and I think the statute sort of implies that, by how they set it up front in that first
I
paragraph.
didn't read that, I read it carefully.
Yeah,
It says
so-
a publication.
Sorry.
Well, there's
go
a
ahead.
guy down in Pueblo that has.
I know, it's a
that-
little 400
Yeah,
circulation
that
news,
that
like
does this
bulletin,
for
basically.
places, so it doesn't even have to be,
Right.
That's right.
you know.
So
This has to
the,
be in the
That's
county.
very common.
obviously, legal notice or advertisement means any notice or other written matter required to be published. We're not required to publish a request, a position, vacancy announcement. We're not required to do that. That's not a legal
And so
notice.
then it's
it's our
statutory versus
requirement.
non-statutory
Right.
is the question.
See, that's
And
our
then
requirement.
we should decide, do we want a single newspaper for the county for all publications, or,
Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's a question that should be on the table.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on the way these letters will be, or are written and will be sent out. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We can wrangle with, when we get the bids in.
Well,
Here's my issue, and I know I just voted yes, so I'm not trying to circumvent anything. But if newspaper A, newspaper B, newspaper A says, here's what I'm gonna do for statutory, here's what I'm gonna do for non-statutory. Paper B says, here's my bid. We don't have apples and oranges to compare. That's what I'm concerned about.
They won't be that.
We
They
do
both-
we
in
do the way
Bill-
it's
Bill
written here,
both broke
Jay.
it up.
Yeah,
Read the way it's written.
they've both offered both.
Because they're
Okay.
different.
And that'll solve the issue.
Well, that's because we said to do it that way in the second paragraph.
Did we?
Well, not for non-statutory.
No, what we said for legal notice or advertising, we said it.
Yeah, I think the editors both know how to do it.
Okay,
I
let's,
agree.
let's see what comes in.
I agree with you, but
If
the
it-
legal notice or advertisement as required by statute.
It doesn't say by statute, it says that can be our requirement.
2470-101
because the
does say
advertisement-
that though, Bill.
The advertisement, it doesn't say advertisement.
Yeah, I just.
Well,
read
wait a
it.
minute, 24/7/01.
So, to me, this covers the statutory portion, this letter. Really, it doesn't cover the non-statutory.
Are there
That's what I'm
statutory
trying to-
advertisements?
Except the advertisements
The advertisements are not
statutory.
statutory.
They,
They're not.
yes,
It says
sir.
Tom.
Like the-
It said and advertising.
Like if I put a help
70,
wanted ad in,
101.
it's not statutory.
That's right.
That's
There's
correct.
no statutory.
So you pay the non-statutory rate.
Price.
But there,
That's right.
there is statutory advertisements.
You could just send a letter and say, send your bids like you always do.
Yeah.
We'll look at them.
There's
And
a-
that, I
Or you
mean,
can
I,
change that from
There's a
non-statutory
problem with
to
that.
non-statutory.
We continue to operate in an ignorant state. We're trying to cure that
We're
problem.
curing our ignorancy. You ought
On
to
the
bring
one
the
day
little
that
sticky
your-
things you
that your
mark this with, 'cause
attorney's
we'll
not
open it
here.
up when the
Right.
bids come in.
Well,
Who knows the
You had one of
answer?
those
say
little,
something.
Huh?
no, you know what I'm talking about, those little
That
red
should say something.
things, tabs.
Like your sign here, tab?
Yeah,
Yes.
some tab like that. We put it there and we get flip right to it every time we argue about that.
So 2470-101, legal notice or advertisement means any notice required to be published in a newspaper.
and that's the
Like
question.
well, that's our requirement.
Required is the issue. I'm reading it right
But
here.
that's not
I'm at the statutes as we speak.
Yeah.
That is statute.
That's correct.
We can advertise in
Sure.
the paper
Yeah.
without being
Sure,
statutory.
we can, and then
They're
we do
talking
that.
about legal notices, statutory notices, or
Or
advertisement,
advertising.
right?
I wonder
Because we
what
may have
falls,
to add legally.
what falls under statutory advertisement.
I don't know.
I
never-
wonder,
I don't know
because-
how they differentiate.
Because a RFP would that be an advertisement?
Well, required to be published
That's us,
in a newspaper by any law of this state or by the ordinances of
of the
any
county, so
city,
that would be
town.
our requirement.
See,
I don't
those
know
would be
the answer.
statutory. Non-statutory is if Guinevere puts her
Wants to put
vacancy
her
Right.
notice in the
vacancy,
paper.
yeah,
She can do
right.
whatever she wants.
Yes,
Same
that
when we
makes sense.
advertise,
That's a
so,
good point.
And I think we have always taken the stance, to the best of my knowledge at least, that every ad or everything that we publish in a newspaper must go to our paper of record.
right,
And then we
have
choose
an
what to go
option.
to the other one.
exactly.
However, I'm feeling that we don't have to do that, based upon what I'm reading.
Have to do,
The other one.
The
The other one? Oh.
non-statutory,
no,
That's right.
but we always have, I mean,
Right.
that's tradition.
it's our choice,
Tradition.
I agree,
Okay,
yeah.
because I think this is an important question.
works. Yeah, the letter should have another paragraph in it, technically,
Come
in
back
my
a second.
opinion, and that would be,
Well,
if you
want
so
to
choose,
what my
bid
statutory
your
non-statutory.
non-statutory rate.
Virginia's
see,
got some
she's-
input on that non-statutory.
You're
Well, how would
listening.
she even know we're
I
talking
don't even,
about?
cause she cares about this live stream.
That's why I brought this up.
I know you
Because
do.
it won't be on here.
Yes, ma'am.
My statutory is, okay, I have to publish through you guys because you have to publish the semi-annual, that's statutory. In my office, non-statutory is a pass-through. I have to statutorily do the tax lien sale,
Right.
but it's a pass-through, so it's a non-statutory. Because the county doesn't get charged for it. The person is
Oh, I see, it's the other organization is paying for it.
Right. Yeah,
That's
that's
So
why-
you pay
interesting.
the non-statutory
So they charge us the non-statutory
For the-
for the tax lien, and for my personal property, but they get charged the statutory for the semi-annual.
Got it, 'cause
I don't know
that's
if
a
that helps
county,
you.
county.
Well, it does say that they are quoting it two different ways.
Right.
I didn't look at the bids from last year,
I
but
have them if you want to look.
Last year they
for
were,
the two papers here in the county, yeah.
they were
mine.
both on the same paragraph, and they
Well,
both were high on one.
I personally feel, I know we voted to approve this, and that's why I was so hesitant to say yes.
Yeah.
I think we ought to, just so there's not a question down there, I don't want either newspaper to get upset with us because they felt something and we did something different. Let's just clearly state, please bid separately for statutory, and if your bid is different for, non-statutory, please bid accordingly, or something to that effect.
But you start splitting hairs, we'd go down the path, remember the Tribune last year said we have a bigger circulation than the Sentinel, so therefore we have a
Bill,
cheaper
Bill,
price.
Hey,
Bill,
this is what was in
you're
the
way
minutes.
beyond what we're talking about.
I know, I'm just
here.
saying, but I
We
hear you.
can, we've already decided
I don't have the
that we
actual
could do
bids, but-
statutory, non-statutory, we don't have to use the same paper. So all I'm saying is we ought to ask both
Right.
papers to bid both, that's all I'm saying. I am not going into who's got more circulation.
Gotcha, no, I don't wanna do that either, I'm just saying.
there.
So, yeah, this was for Wet Mountain Tribune was 25 cents for
21.
non-statutory and statutory at 9 cents, non-statutory 25, Sanger to Crystal Sentinel, 15 cents for the first insertion.
Yeah.
Statutory was 15 cents, non-statutory was 30.
Okay.
So
So
they was
obviously-
bid just the way we're talking, but this letter doesn't really request that.
And that's what I'm thinking, thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you,
Whitman.
ma'am.
I think it ought to do that so that we're clear, cause this
Okay.
concern is gonna come back later and say, wait a minute,
So
I
what
just
do you
bid a
want,
price.
what's the language?
So
Bid on non-statutory.
what I would
statutory.
recommend is for this to say, this bid is to include the cost for statutory and non-statutory notices for countywide publications.
That implies to me, you're looking for one number for both. The way you just said it.
Oh, okay.
So I would say,
This bid is to include the costs for statutory and non-statutory notices.
okay, the S at the end of
Yeah,
cost
right,
probably
that's-
clears it up. Okay, I can go with that.
Well, read that paragraph, and it says, the bid is to include the cost of countywide publications as required under the statute, blah, blah. Legal notices or advertising. Number 2, privately supported legal notice or advertisement. Number 3, publicly supported
Right.
legal notice or advertisement. So where do we insert statutory, non-statutory?
I would suggest to insert the words, the bid is to include the cost for statutory and non-statutory legal notices for countywide publications.
Just continue on with
But
That'll work.
now, we really can't reconsider this item of business because we have
We
to have
another
another,
motion to amend it
Boy,
again.
I was so hesitant to say
yeah,
yes.
I get it.
It's just another 5 minutes.
So in order to reconsider this, there has to be an item of business conducted between the motion you wanna reconsider and the motion to reconsider, so, we could withdraw that motion if you wanna add the words, or we can send it like it is. We'll get what we want, but to your
Well,
point, I don't think it's
really-
worded very well.
Right, I think it's already been approved. How would you feel, this question now, how would you feel if we get one paper gives us both, one gives one, say, we don't have well, we can't ask them to rebid it because we didn't like what they did. I mean, we've already read the
Especially if we
numbers that
read
we
the other
did,
bid.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not gonna fly.
If we didn't, then, but we wouldn't know that until we have read them, so.
I would like to say, if you choose bid both a price for statutory publications and a separate price for non-statutory publications that solves the issues as clear as a bell. Judge, rule on that is what I would tell.
Well, that's how it comes, that's how they've been bringing it in anyway, so they'll just continue doing it like they always have, I would assume. If we.
That's the problem.
No,
They
it's a new
assume-
language, Jay, so I'm saying we put non-statutory, statutory, they're gonna, it's not gonna change how they're doing it, cause they've been doing it that way
Right,
anyway.
it just gets a little more clarification from our
So
end.
it isn't gonna complicate anything by putting those words back and
I
then.
think we're setting ourselves up for potential issue if we don't clarify
That's
what
what
it
I
is we
said,
want you to
let's
do.
clarify it, it should, and they won't have any issue with it, because they've been doing it that way anyway, right? If we put those words in,
And
Tom
if
said.
Jordan decides, or Mr. Grelos decides to bid it a different way than they have previously, this could be a problem.
You're misunderstanding what I just said. I said, change the words, put in what he just said, and it won't affect them now because that's how they've been doing it anyway.
Okay,
So it's okay. I don't see an issue with it.
okay, that's fine. It's not an issue I wanna fight too much about.
No, we're just agreeing, we're all agreeing.
The first.
Well, you know what, if you guys want to, Chair would allow for, reconsider this motion. If you wanna change the wording, if not, we'll leave it and move on, it's up to you guys.
She found the bids from last year.
Oh.
I don't know what you-
My heart tells me to reconsider it, so I know that we're doing it
Okay.
as appropriately as we possibly
I move we
can.
reconsider that last motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to reconsider the item of business concerning the, bid request for, publication of legal notices. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed nay, motion carries. So we are back into reconsideration
Do
of
you have to
the
rescind
motion.
that last
No, we don't, we just reconsidered it, so. That would be my suggestion, that's all I can bring to the table, is we insert the words, after the word costs, insert the word for statutory and non-statutory.
I move we insert the words cost, after the word cost, the words non-statutory and statutory, or reverse the words. Go ahead.
So, your motion before didn't have to
Actually,
do
the-
with
the
how
mo-
the letter was written.
Right,
Can-
the motion
can I read
before
the
it was
motion?
this, right here.
Can I read the
Yes,
motion?
you may.
So the motion was to notify both newspapers requesting bid proposals for the 2020 statutory and non-statutory
Correct.
notices.
So that's good.
And the inherent intent was to notify them via this letter.
Right, so we just, now
Right.
all we're doing is just modifying the
Correct.
actual language, which really doesn't change the motion that we made.
Right.
We're gonna send the request for the non-statutory.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, we need a
So-
motion to send this letter
Yeah, we need to.
as worded.
Yeah, we need to, what we're now,
Well, you just-
is a motion for the actual language we're using in the letter, not the motion that
Right.
was passed.
I think notifying them is,
Right. So, we're in the period of reconsideration of the main motion, which was to notify the papers.
Right.
So we can leave that motion on the table and include with this letter,
Yeah.
whatever form this letter ends up looking like, correct?
And we can fix the language.
So we don't have to go back and re-deal with our motion to reconsider, cause
That's right,
we're still good.
let's let it dry.
We haven't nullified that motion, we're just talking about it again.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
I'll suggest that. Commissioner Prince, you have something different, a different approach to dealing with that,
I
or?
think that will
So,
work. I just want clarity.
right, this bid is to include the cost for, I'm gonna say both statutory, if I can spell,
And non-statutory.
And non-statutory.
and
And I'm fine.
time spell.
Who would have thought this would have got this complicated?
It's your fault, Jay.
Did you get my little note? I sent you
I answered you, but it's always weird when it's a text to my email. It's like this tiny, and I wrote, "You're welcome." And I sent it back, but I don't know if I can send it from my
Nobody can
computer to
read
your
it.
phone.
It was just such a nice thing you did, I just want to tell you that.
Worth it. No.
Okay, so then that paragraph reads, this bid is to include the costs for both statutory and non-statutory legal publication
There you go.
bids for countywide publications required under CRS 24/711.
That sounds like it'll work for me.
Either one of them will even read the letter, they'll
I'm
go,
sorry I
there's
killed
request
this.
Yeah,
for
oh,
bid.
I'm glad they reminded me to do it.
What date does it need to be, okay.
Yeah, we're not,
Okay, move right along here, fellers. Did we pass it yet?
No.
We did, or we gotta redo it because we rescinded it, or we reconsidered it, so we're just confirming it.
So, the inherent intent, in my opinion, was to make that notice with this letter. The motion doesn't say that, but
Right, that's,
you good with that?
Yes, sir.
we're sending the notice for the statutory.
And I will, write two of these letters and give those to Miss Karen, she can shoot those out. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor of notifying the two newspapers of the publication of bids, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Any other items, gentlemen, to come before? Did you have?
Just the
Okay.
just the tower power.
The only public comment I had was, I am gonna get a hold of
Gee.
I'm gonna get a hold of Kunkelman and get the date squared out on this meeting.
Any public comment?
Come on, Ken.
Gosh.
Yo. Hearing none, chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The move and second to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries.